We are Legion.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the Legion of Comics. Once again, it's 4:30 in the morning because once again we're running on East Coast time or West Coast time because the East Coast isn't up. I don't even know if he had anything scheduled. To be honest, this wasn't even scheduled. I just created this stream just now on his channel for him because nothing was scheduled. My guess, Mark may still be on vacation and didn't really care, and didn't plan to do anything because he was on vacation. Um, but so we're here for at least for a little bit. We'll see if anybody shows up. Legion chat, I posted up the links to join in. Anybody else wants to join up, just ping me. I'm going to try to monitor Instagram at the same time. Um, yeah, as I babble incessantly about myself, because that's what I do apparently when nobody else is here. Um, anyways, weird news cycle. I guess we had it if Secret Invasions finally ended. I haven't watched a single episode yet. Yeah, but I plan to watch. I was waiting for it all to come out, and I figured I'll watch it all when it all gets to the end. Um, and now that it's all come to an end, that means that this weekend I'll find some time to sit down and watch it. Oh, what you guys? Morning, Mike and Tyler. Did either of you guys? Nope. Evil says he didn't. He didn't watch it at all. How about you, Tyler? Did you watch Shattered Glass, or did you watch Shattered? Did you watch yourself? Do you watch yourself? What do you think when you watch yourself? There you go. There's the question. No. Did you watch Secret Invasion? Hmm. Boom. I stopped watching it after episode 2. I didn't give a single. Yeah, well, that's valid. I think I watched the first episode and I fell asleep partway through it, and that kind of like I was but now that it's all done, I figure I'll try to give it some a little more attention and try it again, maybe during the middle of the day. My problem is lately it seems reliably, and this may be because I'm just now old officially, is that every evening I sit down in my recliner and I am out within 35 45 minutes from sitting down and turning on the TV. I'm just out. Next thing I know, it's midnight and it's time to move to bed. It doesn't matter. I mean, there are episodes of wrestling that I've turned on and I've watched 3 or 4 times to get through the entire thing. Or last night I finally got through the end of um, the Wednesday Night Dynamite, and then hey, how you doing there, Izzy? Uh, I think I just got
What's up?
last night. I just got done through it, and then all of a sudden I started putting on the Bam Bam Bigelow behind Dark Side of the Ring, and I was out cold 5 minutes in. So you get an oil change?
Like I said, I was doing the oil change today.
There you go.
There's the car behind you. Right there. See it?
We don't know. We've never seen that side of it.
Oh, really?
We've,
Oh, that's
we've
right.
only
I showed it.
Oh, have you? Well, okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention. How's that?
Yeah. You know me. I'm always doing something, right? Other than nothing.
Some of us have a job.
Well, I do have a job. I just took the day off.
Well, good for you.
You know what I mean? So.
Have you seen Barbie or Oppenheimer?
No, I have not.
No.
Those are two movies I didn't. Oppenheimer's way too long right now, and Barbie I have no real interest.
Yeah, Barbie, I have zero, not even no real interest. I have
Yeah.
no interest, fake or real,
Well,
and
yeah, yeah.
I don't even have
The
fake
family
interest.
wants to see it. The
Yeah,
family
see,
wants to see it. I
mine
don't.
doesn't.
Yeah.
And then Oppenheimer, I don't know. I may not see it at some point, but I'd probably be at home. I don't think that's a theater movie I need to go see, especially at that
Oh, I
length.
beg to differ. I beg to differ. I think it was meant for the theater.
I don't know. I'll
I
still
know
see it at home.
it's not the type of genre that you would think for a theater
Look, I
movie.
know how it ends.
Well, yeah, know how it begins too.
Yeah, I mean, much like the movie Titanic, that I had a lot less desire to see than people seem to think, because again, I knew how it ends.
Yeah, but she lied to him. She let go.
Yeah, but that part was
She just
fake.
said, "See ya."
Yeah, but yeah,
So, I
let's see.
did see Secret Invasion. I saw the whole thing.
Saw Barbie 5.5, maybe a 6. Interesting. Okay, Mike.
Okay, Mike. There you go. Mike's review.
Chicago Schultze says hello.
Hello. Hello.
Let's see. How much money would you need, Rob, to go to Barbie by yourself with a pink shirt on that says "I'm a Barbie girl"? Wow.
We should. I bet you if you give him enough money to comics curing cancer, he'll do it.
It's one of those things where I like to say that, I wouldn't do it, but the reality of this thing is, we're all whores to some degree. So for the right, there's always a price. The question is,
What's that price?
yeah,
Got to get the $1 million man.
I mean, chances are, if you went to the theater, ain't nobody. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, we can't hear you now. But anyways, like all of us.
So somehow my car turned
Oh,
on and the Bluetooth is connected.
oh. the guy turned on and also we're hearing them.
Yeah,
They're
because I
hearing
left my
us. We're like,
headsets.
they're hearing us going like, what? Wait a second. What's going on? You know, I go to the theater, and no one would hear me anyways or see me. It's only walking from the car into the theater. It is dark inside, so
Seeing a person of your caliber wearing a Barbie shirt saying "I'm a Barbie girl" strikes
I
some weird vibes. If you know what I'm talking about.
well, I'd get picked up on, dude. Every gay dude in the round. Yeah, I go, oh man, I want that handlebar. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. So I mean, a little bit weird stuff going on.
I'm glad I could make your day, Tyler.
Yeah, where Tyler's been, man? I haven't seen him in like forever. Everywhere I go, I don't see him. Tyler's missing.
My assumption is that the boy's working.
Or hardly working.
It very likely, and he's here. I'm sure he'll ping it, maybe let us know, but I'm sure they probably changed his schedule or something. They tend to do that periodically. Then it screws with his ability to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
he says he's working.
Yeah, because we don't see Tyler as much as we used to, man. I used to see Tyler all the time. Now we don't see him at all.
Corn's come in, so he's gotta go scare the birds away.
Yeah. Let me go pay for this thing. I'll be back.
No worries. I only have one Barbie joke. Why didn't Mattel make a pregnant Barbie? Because Ken came in a different box. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Jerry Chicago Schultze. That's yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, actual Dracula's here. Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing? It is a weird day. I will tell you that. Oh, you know who I forgot to invite? I gotta. Damn it, man. It's really difficult to do this when you wake up and you're all of a sudden by yourself and trying to keep the stream going at the same time. Send out invites to people because you remember not everybody's in the Legion chat. How dare you guys all not be in the Legion chat? That's the real question. But anyways, yeah. So you know what was funny is I picked up a whole crap ton of books from Peddlin' Pete that I opened up yesterday. I was recording a video. I have no idea when that video is going to end. But holy cow, the books. I thought he was doing books that were like in decent condition. I didn't realize that he was giving out roached out books and selling them for, he sits there like this from this far. Oh, look at this! I got this book right here, and this is going to be $10. And you look at it, and you go, "Wow, that's a really cool." Oh yeah, this is a good book. This is a great book. Yeah, and then you get it up close, and you see like, oh, we're missing big old chunks of the cover. We got stuff all roached out on it. We got stuff roached out on it. This book isn't. When you get into it, it's not in good condition at all. And I'm afraid to even take it out of the cover because the spine is even worse. And I'm like, dude. Then it's like I go through these things, and there's like just a lot of these books that are the same way. It's just like they're barely reader copies that are like just. I mean, there's some cool stuff. I mean, I got some Phantom Stranger and some Vault of Evil. Actually, issue 2, Vault of Evil, is actually not in bad condition. Nor is this Witching Hour 10 isn't too bad. But when you start getting into some of the rest of these, like Witching Hour 14, they look good if you hold them back. This is always fun. Nothing else for our Comigories. It's like I have myself a Santa Claus. What a bunch of Witching Hour books. Not too bad. Some of these are hit and miss. Just yeah, you miss Comigories. Yeah, so do I. But every once in a while, other times they come up there. This one's actually not too bad. And here you go. You got the devil is a flasher now. Apparently, he's showing everybody what he's got. So actually, that's the last of the Witcher. This was some of these House of Mysteries. This one, I love this cover though. That's a really cool cover. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess I'm not like super upset because I didn't pay much for these. These were like in lots of 3 for like $10 for 3 of them. So I was paying like $3 a book. So they're not the end of the world. They're but some of them, man, like this one. Look how shite's up there at the top. It's not great. Ooh, the devil's gonna go make it with your woman. What? He's making it with a mermaid. Tales of the Unexpected. This one's another good one for Comigories. There you go. There's the Easter Bunny. The evil Easter Bunny who put down some eggs and lured the kids, and now he's going to kill them. There you go. So, yeah, quit your bitching about the witching. Fair enough. They're fun covers. I just kind of thought maybe they'd be mid-grade at least. I guess. Actually, I should take that back. I guess most of them are mid-grade. I don't know. I guess I don't know what I expected. It was my first time actually buying stuff on his stream, and I don't know. I guess I was hoping for more. Few items. Picked up some books to read myself. Actually, too. Actually, is picking up the what is it? Everybody kept telling me I had to read Saga, and I hadn't read Saga yet, and I don't know why I hadn't. Everybody said it was great. So everybody starts telling me something's great. Like part of me feels like, oh God, you got to rebel against it. Don't embrace it. Don't turn. And I don't know why that is. So finally, suddenly I said, okay, you know what? Let me pick up the trade paperback for the first 5 issues, and I'll give it a try and see what you guys are all talking about. I mean, I guess the cover just never really jumped out at me. Um, and then the I read that first trade paperback, and my God, I was like freaking hooked super fast. So I had to go buy the compendiums. Now I got myself a little bit of reading to do. Is I have to get caught up on the next 53 issues or so of Saga, the first 53 issues or so of Saga, which is interesting because I still have a huge stack of books that I need to read for my normal reading. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. If you don't like the condition, you can stick where the sun don't shine according to Pete. Yeah, well, I also can just not buy in the future, or no, be better educated and be more picky about what I pick up in the future. Yeah. So I started reading Saga recently. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I was surprised with how good it was right out of the gate. Like no buildup, just like jump right in. It was absolutely great. Good morning, Legion. Good morning, Ben Parker. How are you doing, sir? Norrad here. Saga is long. Yeah, well, it's long only because it's been ongoing. You can say the same thing about any ongoing comic for any that's been on for any period of time. It's been a long, it's Amazing Spider-Man's been going on for 60 something 70 years. I don't know what it is. Can't do math real quick. But so it's long too. But absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm really surprised. So yeah, that's I don't know why. It's a quick read. Yeah, it does. It does. Surprisingly, I saw I was like quick how when I picked up that first trade, how quickly I was done with it, and that's not usual for me in reading. So that was a very pleasant surprise, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah, little Romeo and Juliet meet Star Wars. Circumstances. Hello, good morning. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm going to try to ping a few. If anybody's interested, of course, let me know. I'll throw out the chat. I'm going to throw it out a few more. Izzy's still working on getting his paying for his car. Um, so once he's done with that, um, he'll be back on here, and you won't have to listen to just me rambling. That's just what's going on right now. Because I honestly I don't know that Mark had any plans for today. It may have been that today was an off day. He didn't tell me. I get up at 4:30 in the morning my time, and well, here we are. I'm sitting here keeping this thing going, and you're watching a man stumble and mumble through the morning without hasn't really even had his. God, I'm drinking water. I should be drinking my coffee. Who hasn't really had enough coffee yet to wake himself up. So yeah, here we are. As they like to say, whereas Cody Rhodes was say, so YouTube, what do you want to talk about? I could sit here and consider show. This is the one book I'll tell you though that I was the most disappointed in. It's not as roached as a couple of the other books, although it is really rough on the edges. But this was a book that I freaking needed for my mystery and space run, one of the last of the high numbers, and I was so stoked to get it, and then to get it and realize that I still need to get this book because it's in the freaking it's like a 253, and I'm really trying to get these all mid-grade condition, and it's just not. I mean. So, but what are you gonna do? There are some Spider-Man books in there. Avengers with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver leaving the team. Actually, I'll tell you. So the two books I did pick up from the whole thing from Pete that I'm actually kind of happy about. So this one is one I'm the most happy about because the conditions on this book is in good condition, and it is a book at a price that's really good for what it is, and it is Batman Adventures Mad Love. This is the second printing. So I have the first printing signed, double signed, and a 9/8, but I've been totally dig. I've always dug this second printing cover. It looks good. So I thought it was worth finally getting around to picking up a second printing because since I already have the first, it's not a consolation prize. Instead, it's now just a cover buy, uh, which I dig. So yeah, that was a cool one. And then the Mad Love was $35. So I don't think it was too bad. It seemed I didn't do any research on it, but it seemed like a fair price to me. So, or at least it was a price I was willing to spend. How's that? So there you go. But yeah, and then Thundercats, #1. Now I probably should have checked. I haven't done this yet. Validate here. Let's see. Is this actually, if this is not the first printing, I'm going to be so pissed. Oh, come on. Get out of here. The smallest, thinnest bags and boards. All right. Thundercats. All right. It does appear to be a first printing. That's good. As far as I can tell, there's nothing in here that says second printing. This is volume 1, #1, December 1985. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, Thundercats. Oh, great. Let's see. What do we got here? Who else was trying to say? Okay, cool. Becker will be here before you know it. That's great. Let's see. Hello, Mike. How much would I love to get at? Rob's a huge second print guy. Well, that's not true. You like to say that because you know it gets my goat. I don't have a problem with second prints. I just have a problem. I don't have a problem with any, subsequent printing, to be honest. I just have a problem when people try to claim, for the most part, that a second printing, the normal stuff, like where it's just like, hey, we ran out, so we went to a second printing or something, where we start going like somehow that, oh no, it's not, the third printing is the one that you need to have because it's rarer. And it's like, okay, but let's understand why it's rarer, right? I'm bringing it back, Izzy. Thank you.
There you go. I've been sitting back there like crazy.
Sorry, my eyes have been paying attention to other things. So you would think that I was looking at the screen, but I'm not looking at the screen. Imagine that. But yeah, so I mean, when you do the normal printing series, like, oh, hey, we went through the first printing, we're going to go to the second one to go to the third, and people say, well, the third is rarer, so it's somehow worth more. That bugs me when it's the same book, and it's just, it's because you missed out on the first print run. Always, each subsequent print run is always smaller, and that applies to 99% of the subsequent printings that exist out there.
Even today, and you know what? That's just the companies trying to, especially now. I think now's the second printing, third printing. I think it's just a ridiculous thing that they do now, because practically almost every book gets a second printing now. It's ridiculous.
I think it's more of a speculator thing that really became this whole deal of like, oh, this is the third printing and it's rarer. That was something that I think really kind of came up more recently with the boom of the speculation market than anything else.
Yeah, I agree to that. I also think it's the idea of yesterday's garbage is today's money bag.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because all these books that we talked about, every single book that we talked about, they were considered dollar bin style books. Like, even the biggest one, which I'll say the first appearance of Harley Quinn, that's a Batman Adventures comic. That was a kid's comic book. You get my point? And being that it was a kid's comic book, it was treated like a kid's comic book, and therefore it's much rarer. That's why you could find more, New Mutants '98 than you could find Batman Adventures because of that factor. That's all, and the same reason with these second printings. But these second printings from back in the day was the same reason it was considered the consolation prize that no one cared about. But what I really hate about today's market is that it's not the consolation prize. It's like, we're just making a second printing and we're going to give you a variant to go with it. And I think that's just stupid.
Well, and that's where it's gone, right? It's the fact that they started adding variants to it that really kind of accelerated that concept. And Biggie mentioned it. Noel ruined it. Noel was a big one. I mean, there was a few here and there, but Noel was definitely where we really saw things go bonkers. And people really kind of get behind this during this speculation boom or anything of subsequent printings were somehow better or more valuable. And like my favorite one is I don't get it at all is when you look at like Star Wars, Darth Vader, issue 3, first appearance of Dr. Aphra, where the first printing, it has some value. Second printing, less value. There's less of them than the first printing, but it has less value, which is fine. It's a second printing. But the third printing, that one is worth a shit ton. But the fourth printing, not so much. Now, each one of those has less and less. You would think by that same standard that the fourth printing would be more valuable or something. But no, and it's not like it's a different cover. It's the exact same cover. It's just with the color shift in the banner. So it makes no sense why one is more valued than the other, whatever. Now, having said that, I do understand when there's certain circumstances that where a second printing is different. Then when I'm talking about my railing against these second printings and third printings, whatever. And again, I don't have a problem with the printings. It's good. It allows folks to be able to get a copy of a book that they maybe missed out on. I have, when Star Wars Darth Vader launched, I missed the first 4 or 5 issues. I had to get subsequent printings initially in order to get them to read them because I missed out. Eventually, I went back and found first printings and stuff, but that's what it was.
Yeah,
those are books that come out in the normal printing cycle. What's different is when I start talking about Spider-Man 2099 Toy Biz, for example. That's a second printing.
It's a second printing in a different way, right?
Yeah, it was 9 years later, first of all, that it got printed because it didn't get, it's a second printing not because they needed more copies, because God knows there's enough Spider-Man 2099 number ones out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fact that it sells for what it's selling for right now is crazy because there's probably more of them than Venom Lethal Protector, and Venom Lethal Protector is a book that just still you can pick it up for $20 whatever all day long.
So it's funny you say that about 2099. So a few months ago, I went to one of my local conventions over here, and they had a ton of 9.4s of 2099, a ton, right? And what was hilarious to me was he was selling them for like $40 each. The guy was selling them. He was like, I just want to get rid of them. So I of course, I picked up one. I should have picked up a few more now that things are going the way it is. You know what I mean? I'm like,
they're always good. I don't know. I always find them fun books to pick up if you can find them without a bunch of spine ticks.
Yeah.
Because
that card took a lot of spine ticks, and you can't fix that.
Especially the Cobra. I mean, I just got one back. Actually, it's funny. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I have a copy of Spider-Man 2099 that I thought initially when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, good, no spine ticks. This book's great, and I sent it in. I sent it with a couple other copies, and it came back in 8.0. And yeah, well, because again, sometimes you're lazy, and you get used to looking for certain things, and you don't take it actually out of the bag and board when you're looking at it. And it wasn't the backside or anything, but it turned out that there was a different indentation on the board that didn't show up from a. I was just focused on looking at
Through a
spine
plastic.
creases. Yeah, instead it was a much broader crease. It was actually like a 2-inch crease that, well, not really a crease, but a 2-inch indentation or whatnot that kind of got it. And it's like, oh well, crap on a stick. But
Yeah.
you know,
So so what's interesting is I ended up finding in my stash Marvel Previews '95, which is the first cover of Miles as Spider-Man, because it came out before. It was, it was a preview. So I looked at it. It was a pretty crisp copy. It was actually a really good copy. It was to the point that when you looked at it, now keep in mind it is a preview. So, you treat it like a preview. You would normally treat a preview. So there was some markings on it, but I took it to the guy, and the guy gave me like, this looks like a solid 9.92, solid, right? I sent it out to CGC, got it back maybe about 2 months later. Not bad. And then when I go unwrap it, I see 8.0, just like you. And then when I see what's the reason for the 8.0, it's because it had like almost like a hairline fracture. It's hard to describe it, but it looked like a hairline fracture that on the spine tick that I guarantee you, Rob, it was not there when I send it.
those are always the other things, right? It's like, what do you when you sit there, you're like, I don't think that was there. What the hell is going on? And
So I contacted the guy, and he said we'll check with them, and it was pretty much a my word against theirs situation. So what I ended up doing is I just sold it. I got $300 for it, so I was happy, especially since it's a preview and I got nothing for it. So about a $200 profit.
at 9.4, how big? Yeah, I don't understand how those things are worth money, but people.
I don't understand it either. But you know what? The fact that it was good enough for me to sell it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
People value things differently, and that was like a kind of an important story that like I kind of talk about sometimes when certain things came up, like like when I was at Heroes, one of my books that was I was trying to find was a New Mutants 98, because believe it or not, I don't have one. And I'm like looking around, I'm going around from booth to booth while I was looking for these things, and a lot of booths had one, but they all had the newsstand versions. And I'm not opposed to a newsstand version, but they valued it. Every single one of these booths kept trying to tell me that somehow that because it had a barcode, and I'm not looking, and keep in mind you, I wasn't looking at a 9.8. I was looking at like a 9.2, 9.4 grade copy. So I'm thinking, so it should only cost me, $300 to $500 max on the high end, probably $300 to $400. And I'm sitting there going, like, I'm looking around, and they're all telling me, oh, they want $700, $800 for this thing. Oh, it's a newsstand, it's rare. I don't think you value that barcode way different than I value that barcode. It's like I'll pay a very small premium, especially on a non-9.8. It's like if on a 9.2, 9.4, if you wanted to charge me an extra $25 for it, maybe 50. I might consider it if I really want that book. But beyond that, it's still the same book, printed at the same time, probably at the same printer, with just different cover attached to it, that was then released on the same day. I don't value it.
This one went to the place, the other one went to the place, right? And the whole news, and I said the same thing too. I dropped a video today where I quickly talk about how I care about newsstand versus non-newsstand. Again, as a seller, I got no problem telling you it's a newsstand, just to give you that hype, right?
Oh, because somebody stupid wants to pay more for it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. As a seller, I don't care. I say I'll tell you it's a newsstand, but it doesn't change what it is. It doesn't change what the book does. Only thing it changes is where it was shipped to. So this went to your mom and pop's grocery store, and that one went to a comic book shop. What's the damn difference?
Exactly.
The difference is my pop probably would have treated it badly. That's it.
Yeah, and I get that the fact that hey, the one that especially when you're talking about in the 90s, when you're talking about 90s books, where newsstands were basically didn't exist. So where we got the newsstand books were often sold like in music stores. It's like things stores.
Barnes and Nobles, newsstand,
and they were put on a spinner rack, and those things are. I understand that they were not treated as well when they're sitting on the shelf and whatnot, and that's why on a 9.8, maybe even a 9.6, I'll give it potentially a slight more value. But again, that's all still just bullshit. It's make believe value, very much like the same thing being is like, look, my ASM 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay, there's a book that it's a pence copy. Right, so it's a UK variant, pricing variant.
Yeah.
Some people will value that more. Some people value it less because they go, oh well, there's less of them. There was less distribution of the UK pricing variant than there was in the US because there's less people in England than there were in the United States, right? But this book came out at the same time. It came, if anything, some people have suggested that potentially it came out a week earlier, but for argument's sake, it came out at the same time. It should be exactly the same price. Well, people started splitting it out rather than just say, hey, it's Amazing Spider-Man 1. They split it out into these different pricing variants. And fortunately for me, I got lucky where somebody was just going off of last solds, looks up, sees it's a UK price variant, goes off last sold, and because there's less of them, oh god, I really hate that. Too much empty space.
Too much scrolls.
Yeah, but because last sold, there hadn't been a last sold in a long time on it. Somebody just priced off that off of a price that was like 4 or 5 years old. I ended up getting it for $1,000 less than the market price on the U.S. version. So in that case, it actually lucked out for me because I had somebody who didn't really know what they were doing when they were pricing it, and I wasn't going to give them an education. When I'm the buyer.
And it's funny because sometimes you do that though. Sometimes you're like, well, you probably should have sold it a little bit more. And you're like, wait a minute, I got to buy this first. You get caught up with that sometimes. I know I do.
Tyler being silly, he only respects.
Here's what I find funny. Like we talked about the second printing idea. These overseas books, right? These books that were, they're just printed in different paper or whatever it was. They're written differently, different ads, whatever the case may be. I think there's some cool value to having a book like that, right? Now they're not treated with the same respect as per se what you would call the original copy, right? Because it's not American. I don't know. It just sounds. Again, these rules people make for themselves, these speculators or investors these rules they make, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. It's like you're talking about a second printing book being more valuable than the first printing because it's lower quality, but yet you won't accept an overseas version of the book, even though I'm sure there's less of them than the original. You get my point? It's like, where do you draw the line? Apparently you don't. Your line is all over the place. So, like, I love seeing a Spider-Man book that's in Spanish because it says "Hombre de la Araña." You know what I mean? And there's some fun in that. You know what I mean? And there's a story behind that. I like having comic books where I could have a story behind it, rather than having a comic book just to say I got the first appearance of this guy. I want the story behind it. Like I got my New Mutants 98. I got that from a dollar bin. There's a story behind going to a dollar bin and picking up a book where at that time was worth $1. You know what I mean? And then just see it grow progressively within time because of because of Deadpool. Now, my personal opinion is after Deadpool 3 is over and Deadpool's out of everybody's mind, I think the book's going to start dropping significantly because I don't see the character in itself. He's always going to be iconic, so it's never going to drop to the back to the dollar bin. But I don't see that character having a very long lifespan, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Like we've seen him in the movies, and that's it. We're done with him.
I mean, obviously, we had the combination of the movies and COVID that really saw it shot up crazy, but it has cut down dramatically. So, like, I mean, remember at one point, like during its peak, like a 9.6 was, would cost you what, like $1,400-$1,500 for 9.6, and
Yeah.
it's now like $500 to $600, maybe even less. But so it's definitely come to drop, and I agree with you. I think that there's probably when we get a little bit closer to the next Deadpool movie, there's maybe a little bit of more of a spike that'll come in there, but overall, the majority, I would expect that you're not going to see much. I don't think it's going to be a big spike, and then I don't think that the drop off is going to be too much more than it already is. I think at this point it's really kind of corrected itself much more where it should be in line with for a modern key first appearance of a significant character who's popular. Its pricing seems to be in line with several others in that category. So, well, it may come down some. That's great, but I mean, again, I'm not buying a book. For me, buying it from worried about what it's going to do down the road. I'm not that guy, right? Obviously, every book I buy, I would much rather buy at a lower price and have it appreciate in value. Even that way, if I ever did want to sell something, that it had more value than I paid for it. But at the end of the day, it's not what I'm doing because I'm not that guy who's a reseller for the most part. So I just care about obviously not overpaying for a book. That's really where, for me, it comes into, and this has been one of those times where this year has been a crazy year where it has been fun watching this correction and trying to pick where some of those bottoms are on some of these prices. I mean, look, I just pulled the trigger on a big book yesterday that that I wasn't quite sure I really wanted to pull the trigger on, but when I started doing the pricing research on the offer I got, it was like literally like $120 less than what most of the recent market had been on that book, and I was like, oh, dude, I it's just too good of an opportunity because I don't anticipate it really dropping much more. Matter of fact, I only expect it to rise because of what has been announced in the long-term planned pipeline. So,
yeah, because there's characters like that, right? So, the way I equate Deadpool, I'm going to equate him in the same caliber as I would equate Shazam. Two different characters, two different things, right?
Right.
But Shazam was the number one superhero when he first came out, right? He outsold Superman. In fact, if anything, he had a first TV series in Superman. So he outperformed Superman, but after a while that plateaued to the point that Shazam was like, he's not as important as Superman is, right? And then even now when you look at Shazam, his movie tanked, one of the worst movies ever, unfortunately. And it wasn't a bad movie. I actually enjoyed it. I feel that Deadpool has that same longevity where he'll still be relevant to a certain point. But I think right now, a character like Deadpool, like Harley Quinn, they're just popular right now. They will sustain that popularity to a certain extent because people are going to have the nostalgia. But once this whole Deadpool craze is over, once this Harley Quinn's craze is over, which I think Harley Quinn's craze is starting to die down already, we're not going to see these characters for a long time, and no one's going to think about them anymore. No one's going to care about them. When you think of Deadpool, you think of Ryan Reynolds. You know what I mean? He's associated himself to it. When you think of Wolverine, you think of Hugh Jackman, but Wolverine is a character that will come back, and we do have plans for a return. Where in Deadpool, I don't see that happening.
Well, so that's from a broad appeal when you talk about the masses. For comic book fans, though, and comic book collectors. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. There's the true. I say
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, I don't think that they're as caught up necessarily in whether or not there's another movie iteration of that character coming out. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
whether or not you like that
Yeah.
character or not. And Deadpool still does well in comic book sales.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn does phenomenally well in comic book sales for DC, and we still have stuff with animated series and other stuff that's still going on
Yeah,
with
they're
her.
still there.
So I mean, that's still a book that has become desirable.
Just like that. Just like Shazam. I use Shazam as a perfect example. Same thing.
Shazam is a bit different in this aspect of you're talking about a character who was brought back, but when you can't compare him to Superman necessarily because he was gone off the radar while he was more popular initially. After come 1950 with the demise when Fawcett goes away,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, goes away until the
Goes away.
70s.
Yeah, he's gone for a while.
Yeah. And then he gets introduced in the 70s, and then he's basically introduced as a kids' TV show with a comic book about the kid. Hey, here's the character from the kids' TV show, and the kids' TV show was a little weird.
Yeah. Oh man.
By today's standard, it's downright cringe. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, here's an old man driving around an RV with a young kid and a motorcycle. Wait, come on.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But so it's a bit bizarre, but we respect, and then that's a movie, and that's a book that shows like the DC Shazam #1. You can pick it up for nothing.
Yeah.
It's a very inexpensive. The only book, there's 2 books in that run that are worth anything, and only one of them that's worth significant. That's of course the reintroduction of Black Adam. Now there's a book that, oddly enough, has continued to stay. It has come down from its peak hype build up to the Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
But it really has actually surprisingly stayed on the
course.
Had much better staying power than I had originally anticipated. Mr. Beckerman, how are you doing?
Beckerman.
And of course, the other one is that's only other book that's in that run that's got any kind of value behind it is the first appearance of Isis.
Yeah.
But which is odd in its own right because we haven't seen Isis in anything since the 70s TV show. But
yeah. Anyway, I gotta step out from there. I'll probably stop by. Beckerman, take my place.
I got you.
We've got Mark's Legion chat on life support here essentially. No big hangouts today. Just a couple people stopping in here and there, and we appreciate you swinging on by, Beckerman.
Yeah, man. I was just dropping. I took my wife to work today, and
it's good to put her to work and make her earn you a living.
Right. She let them. We were off this week, both of us, and she let them talk her into working Friday. That sucker.
What a sucker. Why would she?
So I ran her over there, and yeah, it was nice. It was nice. We stopped for. I didn't get any, but we stopped for donuts.
Nice. And did the donuts make it safely across the street?
They did.
They didn't.
I didn't eat any.
Why not?
I just didn't feel it. I'm not hungry yet. I'm trying to only eat when I'm like actually hungry instead of just on
because I'm bored or
my fat instincts. Yeah,
I understand. I did that yesterday. I was in the kitchen. I walked into the kitchen and it's like it seems to be like, oh, I'm in the kitchen. I must eat, right? And it's like I was like I start opening up the fridge. I'm opening up the pantry and I'm looking around and I'm going like, what am I even looking at this stuff for? I'm not hungry. What's going on? And so then I walked out. Success, right? That's it. Now all of a sudden I'm on a diet, I suppose. But
are we still talking about printings and stuff?
Sure, we can. Absolutely. Any chance?
Well, the one that always stuck out to me was 377. Hulk 377 seems to be the first one where, like, even in the late 90s, I knew people that were collecting the more scarce prints. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it didn't happen until maybe in the last 8 years where people, Certainly newsstands were never talked about outside of 10 years ago. That's a newer selling tactic.
That was something I honestly, the first time I remember being mentioned was in conjunction with Spawn #1. It was like somebody decided, oh, there's a million printings. Suddenly I need something to make my copy worth
Mine
something.
stand out. Yeah.
And so suddenly it became like, oh, well, here's this. And it kind of aligns with the 90s where there was also such a limited number of newsstands once you get the 90s, the number of newsstand copies really, really drops off because we started having, well, we already had local comic book shops. I think we started to see more local comic book shops start to open up in the 90s, right after, you're not long after the death of Superman sparked this big surge in interest amongst the general population, and we have Image Comics is out and getting a new surge of interest and everything that comes on there. And at that point, I remember I was working in a Music Land, and we had like because people back in the day, you went to the mall was ruled by Sam Goody and Music Land. That was what it was all about. And funny enough, both of those
were competitors.
Yeah, owned by the same company, but they would set themselves up in the mall against each other in order to keep like the other like two, Camelot Music and who is the other mall? There's like one other mall music store company. But anyways, we had two spinner racks of comics, and that was one of my jobs I managed. I took care of was those spinner racks, and every week, or we'd rotate stuff, take some off, take it in the back room, tear off the covers, throw them out. Man, and I tell you, man, I think about now some of the books that I tore covers off of and just threw out because I wasn't a collector back then.
Right.
And I just think about some of those books, and man,
and
a lot of them.
The New Mutants 98, I feel you on not wanting to pay a lot for that because really it's not a scarce book. By that point, that book was back to being one of their top sellers. And you just look at how many, like, one thing I think about right now is print runs. Like, I know Hulk #2, they just announced yesterday, is going to a second print because the first print sold out, which doesn't mean you can't find it at your local comic shop. It just means Marvel doesn't have any more to restock your comic shops.
Yes, all the copies were ordered.
Yes, all the copies were ordered. So to me, though, the numbers, like, it just doesn't mean the same. Because if you go back to the early 90s, New Warriors #1 would be considered like a blockbuster sale by today's standards.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was just an average top 20 book back then.
Today, if you could sell over 100,000 copies, it was like that's.
Oh yeah, that's a huge. I think the benchmark to keep a series going right now is around 50,000. And back in the day, they would cancel you if you went under 85.
Right. It's like, what's why you see? Oh, print run was like 40,000, 50,000.
That was Marvel's metric for years. The 85. That's when Power Pack got canceled. That's when New Warriors got canceled. Like, if you couldn't stay above 75, 85,000, and now that would be like, oh my God, we're selling 85,000.
Yeah, no, it's definitely weird, but yeah, no, that New Mutants 98 it was just really odd that, like, at that particular, first of all, it's weird enough that, like we talked about, the newsstand variant whole thing, whatever. Okay, fine. Maybe you value it slightly different. Obviously, I value it more when I'm selling a book than I'm buying it, because somebody else will buy into that. And, when you're selling it, you're just a salesman and you'll say anything to get the deal done. Right. But at the end of the day, to sit there and tell me that, oh, like when I see people go, oh, look at this is a newsie, and it's a mid-grade book. It's like, okay, the whole concept originally of the newsstand copy wasn't just that there was less of them, but it was that how it was handled and stuff. And so in a high grade, it was harder to find in a high grade because not only was there less of them, but because it was stuck on this rack and handled and whatever else. That was the whole argument. So when I
Sell
get down
that to the rubes.
right, but so then when I get down to a mid-grade book or something, don't be telling me that it's a newsie. Like I give it a crap because it's a beat-up book.
Then they're gonna go to, well, there's fewer of them.
Right.
Are there though? It was about 50-50 at that point, late 80s.
Right.
1990.
I don't know if it was 50.
I think it's 89. In 89, it certainly was close to it.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I would be purely speculating. So, but I would say that. So it was just really odd that, like I said, when I was there to see these certain, it wasn't just one vendor, but it was consistent that like on that book that people consistently seem to want $200 to $300 premium for the newsstand consistently. And I was like, oh, I remember one guy having this conversation with this guy, and I'm like, oh, that when I asked him what the price was, he reads it to me. I kind of give him this look, and I was like, started back ways. Oh, that's a newsstand. I said, I understand that you value it that way, but it's not how I value that book.
Yeah. And I'm a maverick anyway because I gave away a New Mutants 98 newsstand signed by Rob Liefeld at Heroes Con to Alan, the comic Viking.
Right. Let's be honest. You give away a lot of books that people wouldn't give away.
Hey, I paid $10 for it, and if I paid under 20, that is giveaway fodder.
Dude, I love you because I've been the recipient of one of your gifts of generous. To call them an
I'm a madcap.
I said to call them an act of kindness is an understatement. It's more of a gift of generosity. So maybe that's what you have to. The GOG, gift of generosity.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, maybe we gotta come up with something for it to be an A or something, so we can call it gag. You got a gag from Beckerman. It's
something.
But anyways, I digress. But no. You, sir,
I've literally paid like Izzy, I know there's one of my 98s I know I paid $1 for. The one I got when I went through the basement steps at Comic World.
There you go. Ben Parker says, what if that newsstand is a Mark Jewelers?
Yeah.
Well, aren't all the Mark Jewelers newsstands?
Unless it's recognized by Overstreet, I don't give a crap.
There's the understatement right there. Becker's a nice guy.
Yeah. Alan needed it. Now he's really happy because he, when he set out to all, start collecting again, he wanted first Punisher, first Deadpool, and oh God, I can't even remember what else he likes. ASM 300, and now he's got all three on his shelf. So.
Oh, well, there you go. There's but no Speedball though, huh?
Oh, he's got one.
Okay,
I think since joining this community, I think sales of that book have ticked a little upwards because people are now like, oh, I need that book.
that and the New Warriors #1. People get all excited. Oh, hey, I got this. Mike Becker approved. Yeah.
You know how many of those I get tagged in? Like, honestly, it's a thing. At least once a month, I get tagged and somebody's like, Beckerman would be proud of me. I bought a New Warriors #1, Speedball #1, New Warriors #1, and Night Thrasher #1.
Yeah. That's the Becker trifecta.
It's the Becker trifecta. I get tagged in all of those.
You don't have to put them in any particular order. You can just box your trifecta and you still win in Becker's eyes.
Yeah. Great series.
ASM annuals are great. Yeah, there you go. Tyler says, I always look for first Speedball in the wild. If I stumble across it, it's one of those books depends. There's certain books that there are, when I'm looking, if I stumble across them and they're the right price, I'll pick them up, no matter what, almost anyways. And I've thrown them. Some of them are for the giveaway bin, like the New Warriors and the Night Thrasher ones and the Sleepwalker one, and some of that stuff. You can usually get them for a couple dollars on the high end. And they're great. They go into the giveaway bin and whatnot. Same thing with like the what is it? The New Mutants, or not New Mutants, the X-Force 1 in the poly bag, right? Obviously, I get a handful of those. Thunder Strike #1, you can get a handful of those for a couple bucks. But yeah, but then I always pick up Shogun Warriors #1. I don't know what's up with me with that book. That one I haven't given. I don't think I've
That's
given
a
away.
fun book too, though.
Yeah, but I haven't given away a single copy of them. I just keep collecting them for some strange reason. Tell me about my sickness, Dr. Becker.
I'm not the one to correct you. I just, if you enjoy it, I love doing multiple copies. I'm looking something up because I can't remember it offhand.
Got to get to Walmart. It's Friday. A lot of weekend warriors make their crazy traffic there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to Costco today for the same reason. I was just thinking about like how every book got at least a chance back in those days, the 80s, 90s. You had New Warriors went to issue 75, Night Thrasher went to 21. Those books wouldn't even make limited series nowadays. And they don't. There's a reason they're not getting. Who is it? Matthew Rosenberg has asked Marvel multiple times to give him Night Thrasher. Al Ewing is a huge Night Thrasher fan, and it is actually the one who brought the character back to life, the original Night Thrasher. Sorry, I mispronounced Night Thrasher. And Al Ewing has begged Marvel to let him do a Night Thrasher series, and they're not. At some point, I feel like he's going to win that war, though, because he has literally worked Night Thrasher into storylines he has no business being in. He just shows up and stands in the corner.
These big panels with all these heroes. It's like, oh, let's put them back here. Yeah, we need it.
But that's the thing. The guys creating comic books now are my age and your age. You know what I mean? And they have memories of these characters. So I'm holding out hope that one day Speedball gets his day and gets brought back, but we'll see. Yeah, of course we're talking. And speaking of Night Thrasher, Pocan Joe has a video out there where actually builds Remy Q Studios a Night Thrasher skateboard.
It's true.
Sorry, I mispronounced again. Night Thrasher.
Yeah, how do you keep doing that? I don't know. You think you would know better.
I forget my own rules.
It's like when you accidentally let it slip that you actually say Batman instead of Batman.
Batman. First Thunderbolts, Newsy. Now, see, at that point, Newsy's become a big deal. Once you hit after 1990, the mix gets real lean on the, because I can't remember what year, but whatever year 7-Eleven stopped carrying comic books, the amount of newsstands shrinks greatly. And I think it's 91. But in 1989, the mix was still close to 50-50. The direct market hadn't fully taken over. And except for, at least in your main titles. Now, in your more fringe stuff, yeah. But I looked up New Mutants 98 at one point, and I want to say it was about a 40-60 mix. 60 being the direct market. Which makes sense because I see a lot of New Mutants newsstands out there.
Yeah. There's I was trying to see. What's funny is I can't find that answer as to when that was, but you're right. We do know that it dropped off significantly there in the 90s.
Yeah, 91 I think is the year it drops really.
Yeah, and interesting enough, so DC officially discontinued much. Yeah, well, actually, it's discontinued much of its newsstand distribution by 2014.
Mm.
I can't imagine that there's much newsstand distribution going on at all these days. So where would you go?
Joey B.
I mean, bookstore. That's about it, maybe. But so what do we got here? So let's see what popular says. You cannot go to a
Shattered
7-Eleven or a
Glass.
Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. What?
That's weird.
I don't know.
Those are Indiana rules.
Yeah.
I know, like, for me, 91 is when I went to a pull list because that's when I couldn't get them off my spinner rack anymore. And I was able to convince my mom to take me downtown to the comic book shop.
Right. And I will say, so I remember, well, I know that 92 was when I got back. I started comics, and that was at a spinner rack at the college bookstore.
Oh, that's president. The president, apparently, Joey B.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I want to see your source. So I mean, I know the 1992 Spider-Man 2099 newsstand. That was me off the news rack, spinner rack at the bookstore at the university. But by 93, I was at an LCS in the shopping mall and had a pull list going because you couldn't rely on the spinner rack.
Right.
If you wanted to collect a title,
from 89 to 91, I was just buying. So my first issue I've ever bought of anything was Avengers Spotlight 21. It was Hawkeye and Swordsman on the cover. I actually have a cover recreation of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just was buying rando issues.
That's all you could get. You couldn't reliably get unless you were picking, and even if you were picking up like a Fantastic Four or Amazing Spider-Man or a Batman or Superman, granted there was more of a chance to be there. They only got however many copies, depending on who came in that week and when you got a chance to get down to the spinner rack.
I want to say New Warriors number 3 is when I switched to a pull list. Yeah.
I remember thinking it was so weird because I remember thinking pull list is the greatest thing ever. And then I think, or maybe before I got to the pull list, maybe I was doing it. I had some books on subscription, maybe. Because I remember somewhere in there I had a subscription to some of the Spider-Man books.
Here's something I keep in my wallet to this day. This is my comic club membership from 1993. I was the 19th member.
Number 19. There you go. Oh.
Yeah, and that got me an extra
10%.
10%. So it got me a total of 20% off new books.
Nice.
Yeah. It expired 10/1 of 1994.
Why did it have an expiration?
Because you had to pay for it.
Oh.
So that deal was $20 or $25 a year you would pay for it. And the crazy part is, who also has one of these cards is Magic Lasso.
Oh, okay.
We went to the same LCS when we were kids. But he lived outside of the town I lived in up in Wisconsin. So like he just went there to get his comics and leave, and we never met. We don't know each other, but we both have the same childhood LCS.
So you end up with a situation where you pay $25 a year and you get an extra 10% off. So book prices back then at
there's other benefits too. So you got 10% off wall books. 50-cent bins became quarter bins, and dollar bins became 50-cent bins.
Ah, that's probably the bigger deal right there.
That was the bigger deal.
Yeah, because then you can make your money up. Then you felt obligated to make your money up.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Like,
why. So my Nova collection, I bought everything except for issue 1 out of the quarter bins.
it's just like buffet, right? We always feel I have to get my money's worth. But the yeah, there you are, man. No, I remember I remember we getting a discount, but I mean, so I remember my first LCS I went to. I remember they had just literally had just opened up. I mean, I walked into the shop and the wall was like halfway, it only had half a wall covered with comics, and they had a folding table with a cash box. They're inside the shopping mall, so they didn't even have like a counter with a register yet for the first week that they were there. And I remember talking to them and getting a pull list set up, and then having to go to the mall every damn week. That's funny. I drove by that mall the other day with my youngest for something, and that mall is completely gone, torn down, nothing. I'm like, oh wow.
My LCS owner, he was always so patient with me and like really kind of like like a father figure to my early collecting, but he would like get so frustrated with me because I did so many like crazy kid things. Like when I would come into the shop, I would get excited if I saw anything while I was picking up my pull. I'd have my wallet out ready to pay him, and I would like all of a sudden see something on the racks and run over and get it, and I'd leave my wallet up at the counter. And it would just drive him insane. He's like, I'm going to teach you to hold on to this. He'd start stealing it from me because it drove him nuts. Or when my mom, we went to another town to get my Hulk 181 because Al didn't have any. So for my 14th birthday, I got Hulk 181 as a birthday present with 180 and 182. And Al was mad because when I told him the story, he's like, so I was like, oh, and I was $20 short, but my mom finally gave in and gave me the extra 20 to get it with my birthday money. And I had a promise to him. He's like, you didn't ask for a discount? And like, that's when he sees like, all right, Mike, I always, how when you buy wall books from me, I always come down a little bit for you. Yeah, you should be asking that. Like he taught me how to negotiate in that moment.
That was nice.
But yeah, it never struck my mind the price on, because I went to, my shopping experiences to this point are like Target and stuff.
No, I get it because
I never knew you could talk to somebody about the price.
And it's really weird about when you can and where you couldn't, right? I mean, because nobody teaches you this in America. It's not a haggling society typically. It's not like other. So it seems to be like, okay, on secondhand items, it seems to be okay, and which is fine. I get that but then it's like, when are okay, I'm in a comic store, so I can haggle on these books because they're older, but these ones I can't because they're new.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you go shopping at regular, like, okay, if I go to
That's funny you say that, because that day I tried to haggle on the new button. He's like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah,
but because I didn't understand it. Right. I never heard of it.
It's like this. Like if you go to Walmart and you go to buy a TV, you're not haggling on the price, right? That's the price, you buy it. Now, but if you go to the local TV store and that's where all they sell are TVs and stuff, people have no problem haggling on it. And it's like, it's like all of a sudden like it's a car or something. And I'm like, I've never, having a guy who worked in the industry for so long, I was always so perplexed by that people come, well, you don't ask that if you go over there to that place, but when you come over here, like if you go to Best Buy, you don't haggle on the pricing, but you come here, you will, because I'm a small independent mom and pop. How does that make any sense? I don't know. But neither here nor there. We're getting off topic. We were talking about comics. This is the most.
Oh no, Biggie Shack! I asked for X-Men 1 for my 13th, and my mom got me unlimited and told me how much the shop convinced her it was what I wanted. Oh,
Fortunately, in X-Men 1, I'm assuming that he's talking
Uncanny or
the
well, he
Jim
might
Lee.
be talking the Jim Lee X-Men 1.
That's what I'm thinking was he's talking. Let us know here, Biggie, for story.
It's
context.
Biggie Shack though. He might have been shooting the moon and asking for.
I was just thinking because at 13, that for him that would have been like, Jim Lee X-Men #1. That would have been like crazy. You would have wanted that.
You know what I want to see?
And if that's
I want
the
to see
case,
somebody charge somebody more for a 1978 direct market.
right, exactly. The original X-Men one. Okay, well,
Okay, yeah,
that was
he shot the moon then.
Yeah, that would have been a great buy when you were 13 because at least for
Oh,
appreciation-wise,
it wouldn't have been a 4-figure book, that's for sure.
It probably
would have been a 3-figure,
if that. It might have been less.
Oh no, it would have been a 3-figure.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Yeah, around 300, I think. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it says she got you X-Men Unlimited #1. Well, that's held up for you.
All right, I'm back. Trying to figure out how this Bluetooth works in my car. It's been acting up lately.
So you're on your way to Terrificon?
Not just yet. It opens at 1, so I have to.
I've got friends there that got there last night.
Yeah, I know a few people that got there last night too. I was just talking to I was just meeting up with Josh because he gave me a book for him to sign and stuff. So I'm debating certain books to get signed and graded because first of all, everybody talks about the cost of CGC being like, oh, it's just $25. Like, don't lie to me anymore.
It's not.
Just give me the full dollar amount. That's what I want. I want the end amount. You know what I'm saying? You treat it like my work, my job, where this is how much I get paid, but at the end of the day, I get paid a third of that. You know what I mean?
Right, because nobody, whether or not you have, let's just assume for a second you don't have the book pressed either at your own presser or them, right? Because a lot of the books end up getting pressed one way or the other, so that adds to the cost of anything you're sending in there. But you still got to amateurize, depending on how many books you sent in, the submission fee, which is still my most irksome concept that CGC has on this planet, and the fact that you can't mix books from different categories onto a single submission. And so if you submit books from different categories, like I sent a recent shipment in that had modern books, it had a couple of vintage books, and it had one modern book that had a value over, whatever, $1,000. So now that meant that was 3 separate submission fees to send in 12 books. So that's $15 extra in submission fees. And because each one's its own submission, that means they're each their own return shipment as well. So that's 3 different return shipping fees.
What?
Yep. Each submission,
that's cool, man.
Each submission is its own return shipment. So that's
so in other words, they're scamming you 2 times over.
And if you were to put and that's where you gotta be really careful. If you're a person who likes custom labels, you can't if you mix and match books that can get a custom label, then that gets split into 2 different submissions. They'll let you fill out the form all one. But when you go to do your checkout, it splits it into 2 different submissions, gets you 2 submission fees and 2 return shipping fees, simply because maybe you said, oh, I sent in these 5 Spider-Man books with this 1 Batman book, and you got the custom label on those 5 Spider-Man books, and that 1 Batman book doesn't get a custom label, then that's a separate submission. Yeah. And so that's the thing that CGC does that really bugs me. And then you still got to bake in, of course, amateurize your cost of your membership in order that you had to pay to have the privilege to send the books in. Whereas at least as much as it irks me badly that CBCS has really killed themselves and made themselves a non-entity, because I don't have to. I'm not a paid member over there anymore, right? But I can still submit books. I don't get paid. I don't have to charge a fee for the privilege of filling out a fucking electronic form for them to send them books. You know, I still earn reward points for books that I send there that I can turn around and apply towards my thing. So I don't have to pay for membership, and I still get rewards benefits for going there, and I don't have to pay this extra shit. The only thing that sucks is that their prices aren't all that great either.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and of course the fact that nobody seems to give them any value whatsoever. I mean, if you put up 2 books, I mean, it used to be like it was getting close for a while, but now it's really gotten bad where in my marketplace stuff I'm seeing, where people will, if you put up a CBCS book, it's like, I don't want it. There's so many people who don't want it because they want CGC only, and if
I
they'll
don't get
take it.
that. I don't honestly get that. It's like, why is one valued over the other? I get it. It's a constant, Coke versus Pepsi, McDonald's versus Burger King, but it doesn't make any sense that one is valued over the other in that way.
Well, and not just that. So, I understand that there are certain people who will. There's people who I only want this. Fine, whatever. But the fact that when a book comes up, if somebody's looking for a book, they literally will not consider it at all, or if they do, it's only like, well, it's got to be so much of a discount off of a book. You know, they want a 25% discount off of the fair market value in order to consider buying the CBCS book.
You know what this sounds like, Rob? It sounds like a second print issue.
I mean,
speaking of, Biggie Shaq brought up a really interesting point about JC books.
Oh,
I got JC books.
Yeah.
I love them.
One of the hardest books I ever tracked down. It took me years, but I mean, I wasn't internet shopping at that point. Darkhawk #5, the JC reprint.
really? I didn't know.
It's scarce, man. And if you're a Darkhawk collector, you have to have that JC. They're not expensive. When I finally found it, I think I paid $5 for it. It's the matter of the price isn't high because nobody collects Darkhawk like that, and B, nobody cares about it, except for if you want a complete run of Darkhawk with all printings, you need that JC reprint on #5 because it's the only issue they did it on. So there aren't really any Darkhawk reprints except for that one. So you gotta, if you're a true Darkhawk collector, you gotta have that JC. And in fact, Darkhawk collectors, that's one of the first things you got the JC Penney. Yes, I do. It only cost me $5, but it took me years.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of that. I think not only is it hard to find, not only because there was the distribution channel. Obviously, J.C. Penney wasn't the go-to place for comic books,
especially Darkhawk.
Right.
Hey, do you got any of that Darkhawk left?
But on top of all that, I
want to know where they came up with the idea of selling comic books to JC. I want to know what was that campaign about.
I don't know, but department stores sold everything. That was their whole thing, right? But
they're very different.
The crazy thing is, I don't think a lot of people who have them know that they have them, because I've seen a lot of people who, like, in selling stuff where they think, or I've heard people's stories of, oh, I just picked up this Submariner book, or I picked up this X-Men book, and look how great condition it is. And then it's like later on you go, oh yeah, but dude, you realize, look at the back. You see that ad on the back? You do realize that wasn't out when that book came out, right? That is and you look at that, oh, it's the J.C. Penney reprint, and they get all depressed and stuff. It's like, people think there's books that are being sold and moved that, people, the seller may know, obviously, but they don't, they don't disclose. And
so how you can tell the Darkhawk 5 is that the direct edition on that one has the Captain America anniversary, that black dark box. Yeah. And then on the JC Penney, it's the 30th Spider-Man anniversary.
Yeah, because the Dark Hawk will be a little more harder to identify because it was from that same time area.
Yeah, they both came out at the same time.
Yeah,
it's just they had different lower boxes.
But like I got the JCPenney Fantastic Four 67, the first appearance of Warlock. I got that. I got it for like $12, and it's a nice sharp copy. And in my brain, I was thinking, why is no one going crazy looking for this one? It's got to be rare enough that people would want to go crazy looking for it. But like Rob said, I don't think people know it exists. It's not. Maybe one day it'll become the next Mark Jeweler, but who knows?
I'm like looking. I just Googled them real quick. It came up from my comic shop list of JCPenney reprints.
How much?
Well, so depending on what they are, right? So Avengers 4. There was a JCPenney's reprint, which seems to be, so somebody's got a near mint copy for $175.
Wow.
They got any Darkhawk 5s?
Captain America 371, Ghost Rider 10, Hulk 333, Thor 312.
Crap. All this crap.
What if?
Crap. Where's the Darkhawk?
45. I'm getting through. Uncanny X-Men 268, the Jim Lee cover. That one can be yours for about $1. Namor the Submariner, Jennifer Daydreamer, Anna and Eva. I don't know what the fuck that shit. No Darkhawk there.
What?
It's been outcasted among JC.
Are you on my comic shop?
I was not. There wasn't a JCPenney one. Didn't come up as a JCPenney reprint.
All right, I'm going looking. Oh, it didn't come up on that as the search.
Yeah, so maybe look specifically for Dark Hawk, JCPenney.
You're looking.
Yeah, comic. All right, eBay. JCPenney 1992 reprint. Hard to find. Very
damn
fine,
right it is.
Very fine condition. Buy it now. $35.
Highway robbery.
Who is Portal and why is he wearing Darkhawk's armor?
Because he killed one of the fraternity of raptors. Portal, everyone. Portal.
Meanwhile, you can get a near mint plus first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 from 1990, featuring the first appearance of Taserface for $22.
Taserface. That's
a name
right
synonymous
that's
with
ass
kickery.
That's blue chip key right there. Taserface.
Oh my god. I love it. Oh, here you go. The X-Men number 28 reprint with featuring the first appearance of Banshee. $39.99.
Wow. Again, I want to know what's the print run of these books. How many were printed? Because if the cost value is so low, how many were printed? Is my question.
Yeah, that first Banshee, I've seen a lot of people get.
People have gotten ripped on that.
And I think it's got a Stridex ad on the back, so it's like Stridex wasn't a thing in the 60s.
Yeah,
if you don't know,
zits, man.
Yeah.
The internet's changed comic collecting too, because now you can look it all up. But
right. Well, let's be honest. It's not like people haven't been burned on some of these recent facsimiles either, right? I mean, we've seen New Mutants 98 facsimile and, of course, Ultimate Fallout 4 facsimile, where it's like you just bury, even if you do disclose it, you just bury facsimile somewhere in a wall of text description and not put it in the headline, and all of a sudden people are going like, "Oh, look at that."
Actually, Rob came to my defense this week in a chat when dating myself by saying I used to buy comic books on eBay and have to send money orders in like 1999. I was buying comics on eBay, and that's where I found my Impulse #1. Is because in my area you could not find an Impulse issue 1, and I was
Really?
getting tired of not.
I have an Impulse #1.
Yeah, well, in 1999, Mike Becker didn't. So he went on eBay and he sent a money order to somebody after committing to buy it, and he got himself.
I had completely forgotten about that until you mentioned it. But because you had to, because because the way that it was done back then, when eBay was first going on, a regular Joe Blow which the vast majority of the sellers at that time were still average Joe Blows, you couldn't accept credit card because you didn't have that method. So your methods where you could accept a personal check if you wanted.
This is before PayPal or any of that.
There was no PayPal. So your choices were that you could accept a personal check, which nobody wanted to take a personal check from anybody, or you could do like money orders. And I think there was most
comic book sellers on eBay in 1999 were money orders only. Yeah. And that was fine by me because, I ran to my local grocery store that had a post office. I'd give them the money, get the money order, and then mail it off in a flat.
Because the post office money order was the cheapest money order you could get. And that's what, but I remember doing that, going down and getting money orders at the post office to go to get things and send off that.
Yeah, I can't remember who was giving me the business at the time, and I was like, and I bought those comic books on a dial-up modem.
Right.
And I thought this was incredibly modern. I was like, wow.
I think I might have been
get any comic I want.
The last thing I remember selling on eBay back in that day was my zip drive. You remember zip drives?
Yeah.
That's the last thing I remember selling on eBay.
Yeah, I sold a few an audio video receiver or a DirecTV receiver or something back in the day, but
Hold 1 gig.
Get your money order.
Yeah. Remember paying check? Yeah. Well, my checkbook. So every time I have to write a check, I always have to go it's like the next 20 minutes trying to figure out where's the hell's the checkbook, and it's like, then I'm missing the checkbook. I can't find it. I know it's around somewhere. So then I'm grabbing a different book of checks and writing a check just to get it done. And then of course, later on, then I find the checkbook and fuck, son of a bitch. Why isn't it in the drawer that's labeled checks or something? It's like,
see, I picture you having a secret room in your house that just has a pedestal and an old-timey ledger where you then like bust out a special set of like Ben Franklin glasses.
I pull out my
quill.
I envision the code where you had to put the fingerprints and then the eye scan, all that good, and then then he has to pull out a piece of his mustache hair and then put it in there so he can read your DNA.
No. We pull out a book, go behind the bookcase and then have to grab the right handle to get pulled up to get taken to the vault where we go and count out doubloons.
Yes.
And
that book you need to pull at Rob's house is Common Sense.
And we weigh them on a freaking balance. Because that's how we count our doubloons, is using a balance.
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go see what's got the cat all angry outside.
All right.
Probably Bullseye, since he's got Cat Murdoch.
Oh man. So here's my dilemma. So I'm gonna get stuff signed in the show. There's so many people at the show, but there's certain books that I'm considering, because there's Art Adams. I wanna get something from Art Adams signed. Now here's my question. I got 3 books. All right. I got Classic X-Men #1, I got Long Shot #1, and I got the Gambit Annual, X-Men Annual. From those 3 books, which one would you get signed and graded from Art Adams?
I don't know. I'd probably, me not being a long shot guy, rule that one out right out of the gate.
Okay.
So
But it is his first, so
I understand.
So there's some sentimental value in that. Actually, there's sentimental values, I'm going to say, in 2 of the 3 books.
Yeah. Southern Comic Geek says all the above, but not graded.
No, I can't do all 3. I wouldn't do that. Not. I used to get my books signed all the time. Now it's more of a hinder.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to have them graded too, or?
Well, that's the idea. If I'm going to get them signed, the idea is to get them graded. Because I got a lot of Art Adams books signed already. What's up,
Right.
Mark?
Look, so we got a Corvette.
You're right on
Good
time,
morning.
Mark. Right on time.
I know. I've been listening.
Ouch! Shit! I almost rolled over my own foot with my desk chair.
Because I'm thinking more on the lines of the X-Men #1, only because it's the cooler cover. It just has this nice look to it
Yeah.
that the other books don't have.
Yeah, I think I don't know that the signature would look all that how well it would stand out necessarily, depending on the ink you use. I guess on the annual. So
But that these two have different stories.
Yeah.
You know the story?
So I got that going on. I'm going to do some Dan Jurgens. I'm going to do a triple key signature of Warlock Chronicles #1, a book that's really worth nothing, but I got Tom Randy, I got Jim Starlin, and I got Keith Williams all in the same place.
I don't think that signatures need to go on books that have high values, right? Especially, I mean,
well, in my
it's
case,
one
it's
thing
sentimental, right? You know me and Warlock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, if it's a book that you're trying, if because if you try talking about value when it comes to signatures, very few signatures really add any extra value, right? And sometimes they can detract value from a book. There are certain books that people don't. I don't want it. I don't. Just like same thing can happen for some people aren't into slabs, but so you get signed books. People, oh, now you wrote on the cover. I don't want that shit. Or they only want books signed that they get signed themselves, type of thing. So I always look at it more like when I'm getting books signed, it's for me. What do I want?
Same here.
And
you gotta laugh, Rob. I told Josh I want to get it signed because I want to show up in the show. I didn't tell him which show, but I'm sure you know which show.
Yeah. Yeah, and then sometimes, like for me lately, it's now I've been getting a few more done, just because now I've all of a sudden, now that I've started putting my own COAs on some of my own books to help me remember things and everything else, it's like, okay, now I don't feel like I need to have them all slabbed just to archive that, because for my own purposes, I know here's my own note, my own COA telling me when I got this and where I got it and who it was, etc. I don't know. So, but let's see. The signature stands out good on a classic X-Men, says Southern Comic Geek. Yeah, I would probably think so too.
I think so too. I think out of all of them, that probably is the one that stands out. I have the new Fantastic Four, but that's already signed by Art Adams. If I could find a good one at the shop for cheap, I would probably pick that up just to do that.
No,
because that's a better book to. Well, Classic X-Men #1 is an iconic cover, right? It literally is a cover buy. For what it, because it's a reprint of a classic X-Men story, but the fact that it's an Art Adams cover says a lot about it, to the point that people are looking at those books just like they're looking at the Marvel Tales McFarlane books. Those books are all reprints of other books. Talk about facsimiles.
right.
Those are reprints so that people get a chance to read these stories. That's how it was back then. But now it's more on the lines of. Now it's more like it's a cover book. It's a cover buy, but is it slab worthy? That's the real question.
Well, I would say with the classic X-Men, the nice thing is you get Arthur Adams sign it, and obviously, Chris Claremont's easy to get to sign it at some point.
He's there too, by the way.
So there you go.
I can do a double.
There you go, right? And then it's just a matter of, Jim Shooter always floats around. He's out there on that book.
I'm sure he's there too.
John Bolton, you know,
That might be a little harder.
yeah, but I mean, it's easy enough to get that book at least triple signed if you wanted. Now, granted, Jim Shooter was just editor in chief. I'm not a big guy in getting
Same here.
editors to sign my books. I don't generally care, but getting the writer and the cover art.
Well, if it's Jim Shooter, though, he probably had a more significant hand in it than other editors.
Potentially, he's not even the editor of the book, and
He was just editor in chief at the time.
yeah,
so
he was editor in chief at the time, and Nassetti.
Yeah, I was just making a point of how he was
approved for the book to go out.
very active in his job.
Yeah,
but not for something like a classic X-Men #1. A classic X-Men #1, he probably just said, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah,
He probably hired Art Adams. That's what he did.
I was just looking at this list here. I'm like, my wife has a fucking run of that. Holy shit! I don't know how many issues were in that run, but
Ben, are you talking about from grading? They've shipped from grading.
she's got 1 through 42. I don't know how many issues were there.
Which book?
X-Men Classic X-Men, whatever you want to call it.
X-Men Classic went far.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looks like 221 issues. Okay, so she only has the first 42 issues.
Oh, it went far because it was Classic X-Men, then they changed it to X-Men Classic,
right?
And then some I don't know what was the
which is still all CLZ categorizes it all in one under one, whether it's Classic X-Men or X-Men Classic. It's still one run.
I bet you that had to do with bookkeeping. That's probably why they made that change.
Yeah. Well,
I'm with you, Biggie. I'm not too cheap to buy SIGs, but I don't chase them that much. I think for me, it's just I hate standing in lines.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I walked around with Rob with that Heroes while he was like just checking in on SIGs and remarks and commissions and stuff, but I'm not too big on it. Like there might be somebody at a con, like a person, maybe two at most, that I get hyped about that I want to go meet. And when you meet him, you want to say hey and stuff. You might as well kind of want to get something signed, but I don't need my book signed per se.
Yeah, well, there's certain books that I just like. Sometimes I like getting them, and there's certain books I'm chasing, getting multiple SIGs on, and I like multiple signed books. That's what I really like. A single signature on a book, for the most part, I'm like, eh. So I did get some of them at Heroes because the intent was like, okay, let me get a couple of these, signed because I'm going to turn around and put those up at C3,
And I got a lot of multi-signed books. So my favorite ones are the ones that are like annuals where it has tons of creators working on it. And I got books that have like 10 signatures on them.
Yeah,
but
those
again,
are the ones
they
I
don't
like.
mean anything anymore because of the whole CGC thing of it all.
Those right. I wouldn't CGC it, and I sure as hell wouldn't CBCS it because it would cost me $1 billion to get it done. But I do kind of enjoy like sometimes when I go to a con, like I'll bring like my Marvel 1000, and I'll bring just because. Or like X-Men Hero, what are Heroes for Hope or Hope for whatever the fucking
Heroes for Hope,
whatever. Those got like 1 billion people wrote on it, right? And so it's like you can bring or Detective Comics 1000, whatever you want. You can bring that to a con, and you can find, somebody who's worked on it if you want it. If you want to get it signed, and it's kind of sometimes an opportunity to meet something. What I dug was like at Heroes, I went there. And I usually go quickly. I get some signatures early on, but it gives me a chance also then to scope out some commissions because I do like getting commissions on. I like sketch covers from artists. That's something that like I blame Comic Vet for turning me on to that. When he did his appearance on Only Slab, or back in the day when it was called Slab Hub, when he did his he did an entire episode where he did nothing but sketch covers, and he kind of lit that like, ooh, I like that. That's cool. Next thing you know, now I'm working on my second box of sketch covers, and I'm going like, okay.
Yeah, one of the coolest multi-signed book I have is years ago.
Nice.
They were doing in the 90s, Extreme Studios. Rob Liefeld was doing his tour with his whole team.
Oh, with the Instinct book.
Yeah, so he had a special book called Extreme Studios, and it was just a showcasing of the artists and stuff like that. But it was a nice black cover, and they were everybody in attendance would sign the book in a either silver or gold pen, and it looks so nice. Because my sister went with me, I have 2 copies, and I still have them. It's awesome. It's a Rob Liefeld signatures as well as everybody else that was in Extreme Studios at that time. So I'm thinking like Dan Fraggy, Dan Pinoja, apparently all the Dans.
So many Dans.
That's so many Dans. It was such a cool. It was a cool experience because it wasn't like Jim Hanley's universe. So this was even before Midtown Comics, but it's a cool book that I love to have. And just like I said, you can't slab that thing now. Like slab it and just get a green label. I at this point I wouldn't care about that. You know what I mean? Just to keep just to preserve it, I guess.
Well, that's where you could turn around and you'd self slab that shit.
Yeah, it is cool. So, I just slept. Did you miss the Night Thrasher talk? No, you did not. Oh, yes, you did. We did talk about Night Thrasher. Yeah. Mike kept mispronouncing it.
I do like the idea of doing like the jam pieces, like how you said you got like the multiple SIGs, and Becker got a really cool one not long ago, and then
I've been working on this one for a while.
And then E-Man just got that awesome one.
Trying to get these guys all to sign it, but I got a good chunk of them, but then I got a few extras on here for people who weren't listed on the front cover, but yeah.
The worst thing is to work that hard to get that many signatures. You work so hard to get so many signatures, and then one of them passes away, and you're like, no!
There's 9 signatures on this book right now. Because I was going to try to get Trad Moore and Stephanie Rue to do it, but I couldn't find them.
Stephen Rude? Really? He does a few shows over here.
Well, it was supposed to be at Heroes, but I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
You got to understand, like, this was like something that, like, I was getting really irritated at Heroes. Like, so the first day I went and just looking, but like after I got done with after the first day I got back to my room and I was like looking and I'm going, okay, look, now I've spent because I'd already bought a bunch of big books the first day, and I started going, okay, I'm gonna go who else did I still bring books for signatures that I didn't get yet? Who was on my list? And I looked them up on my list. I pulled out the guide. I wrote down what the booth numbers were, everything else, and then I went around and I was trying to find them. And every single one of them, I went to where the booth number was, and they weren't there. They weren't there, and it was like somebody. So then I'm like looking. I swear, I started at one point. I was just walking up and down aisles, and there were several people like that I heard later on from some folks like, "Oh yeah, so and so was there. He was over here." And
you go back and he's not there.
No, well, I mean, but then I gave up. I said I don't give a shit anymore. But it was like really frustrating. It's like, why are you giving me a map of where people are at and tell me these are booth locations not there? There was just there were so many.
Was it a current map? Like after all the, like after
it was one from the guide it was the guide that they distributed it to everybody.
I wonder if it like the one online was more updated as like the last minute people.
I did look at that one too. Yeah. But it was really frustrating to me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to read a map. I don't know.
I doubt that.
I thought that
between you and I, we've got geography covered.
Right. Well, and the military did spend a significant amount of time trying to teach me how to read a map. So the as did the Boy Scouts.
Like letter number.
We didn't have GPS back when I was in the Scouts. We had to learn how to orient a map and read terrain features.
Robin's in his conventions with a compass looking for it. Okay, let me see. He's there.
Let's see. We're in Georgia, so it's only a 13 degrees off magnetic north instead of 14 degrees. And
oh man, that's funny. All right, guys, I gotta head out. Gotta get ready for the show. I'll see you guys soon.
What show are you going to?
I'll get some
He's
video,
Tripicon.
of course. Later,
All
guys.
right, man.
All right, Izzy, take it easy.
There you
Bye,
go.
bye.
Chaos says
Oh, shit.
Dora the Explorer taught him how to read a map, which is
So
true.
Chaos put out a fun video. Well, I say fun. He just put out a video, but it was going through that Fall of X Hellfire Gala X-Men #1 that just came out. Where they just
The
like kill
Hellfire,
a bunch of
Hellfire
mutants.
Gala still going on?
No, it's like they're turning it into an
Or is that
annual
a
event.
series now?
I think it's like an annual event that they're doing in the pages of X-Men.
Because it
It
seems
seems
like
like it's just going to be like a story kickoff point at this point, because you should get a good event at least once a year, and they're doing Fall of X this year. I think they just used the gala to kick it off. You had a lot of people die.
I've heard. Well, yeah. I guess I've heard a lot of things. I mean, I saw something about like some really dark stuff happening to Cyclops, and
He walked away with his life. Well, he was on a table. It doesn't really show how he got on the table.
yeah, I don't know. I don't read any of it.
You
and
see,
really don't
you see
care all that much,
Cyclops
but-
run off because he's got something to do. Then the next time you see him, he's just on a table.
Well,
Kinda weird.
that seems about right. Is that
But-
they just jump to story points without actually taking time to. I see that we had a wardrobe change. How
Did
you
you
doing?
see Biggie will join if you're gonna
I'm sending him the link right now.
about damn time.
So, what
Got
was that
me.
cat into that required a wardrobe change, Mr. Becker?
Oh, I went and took a shower.
Oh, fair enough.
The cat cheesed him.
He was fine and shower, coffee.
Fair enough. Oh my goodness gracious! I tell you.
Oh yeah, I could hear you guys though.
Well, that's important.
I'm just looking at the comments I missed. Becker's cat must have started a gang war.
Just as long as Mike, I like that idea that you were in the shower listening to us while you were touching yourself. That makes Mark and I very happy. More than you can be now.
No, I wasn't listening while in the shower.
Oh,
but I did hear Mark show up like the second I left.
Mhm.
yeah, because he said,
"How dare you?"
Yeah, well, but he's here now, so it's right
Look
on
at
time.
that! Look at that devil may care hair he's got.
Mhm. On this side, this is a sleepy on side.
How very hook of you right now.
Rufio. Oh,
Oh,
I
he
don't
was
know
a
why.
poor man's night thrasher, is what he was. Sorry,
Rufio.
night
I guess so. Yeah,
thrasher.
yeah. The skateboard and everything. Rock the red and black.
Rocking the red and black, yeah,
Can Night Thrasher even crow?
buddy. You ever ask such a stupid question again? Night Thrasher crows, baby. He crows.
They should have put that in a book somewhere.
Night Thrasher.
I guess I'm surprised that after this last week we didn't see anything come back out of that whole Hook and Perry Jungle Boy, whatever he wants to call himself.
I haven't watched any this week.
Well, this week was very lackluster, in my opinion.
Yeah, I fell asleep twice watching it.
Yeah, it took me 3 watches to get through it all. And dude, okay, Mike, what was going on with that Britt Baker Ty Valkyrie match? It was so Britt was like wearing concrete shoes that like
Yeah, they just were having issues.
Ty was like constantly waiting for her on everything. It looked so awful. It looked like a WWE women's match almost.
Pops.
I don't know. It was just really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't this was not their best show. It was really ho hum.
Good morning, Pops. Good morning, Bearded.
I've got
A lot of the women's divisions like that.
I got minimal interest in the Better Than You, Baby. I mean, it's been entertaining, but
Well, I think it's hilarious. They finally hit that sweet double clothesline.
right.
I did miss something apparently.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, it's awesome when you get a double clothesline over with the audience. Like,
right.
Come on, they were chanting for an entire building of people was chanting double clothesline.
I mean, don't get me wrong; it's been entertaining as all hell. But I really don't. It's like, okay, they're not gonna win against FTR, right? So it's like, okay, we're done with the story because
on a show where you have thumbtacks and tables and busted furniture and all of this stuff and all of the razor wire and all that, they found a way to get people
bed of nails
to chant. Yeah, bed of nails. They got people to chant for a double clothesline.
Does that mean the double clothesline was over, or just the bar is just really
they used it
back there?
the whole icon.
It was effective.
Yeah, they picked up the win.
That wasn't an answer.
I'm not even in the whole
Raider Nation 87 hates AEW or just says it's so bad.
It's up and it's so.
I think Collision's been good.
See, that's funny because I can't stand Collision for whatever reason, but I'll tell you, it's a very different product than WWE. That's what I will say. It's a very different product, and some of it is better, and some of it is not. It could learn a few things. And
is somebody over at WWE finally going to recognize that LA Knight needs to win?
I don't. I'm right there. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you got like the most.
Did you see the shirt sales data for last month?
Yeah, he's like
he was the number one, the number three,
number 5,
and the number 4.
Yeah,
he had like 3 in the top 5.
Exactly.
He has 3 shirts. They're all garbage,
right?
And all 3 of them are in the top 5 of sellers. People are buying his stuff, trying to get him over, and WWE's like, no.
We have a timeline, and he's not fitting our timeline.
And as a aside to that, when Triple H, like, supposedly that memo came out where he called it, he just said he was too old, basically gave him the too old to begin the training kind of thing. Right. I looked up LA Knight's age, and he's like 8 years younger than me, and I was like,
damn. He's like, well, he's been
put him out to pasture.
Yeah, and it's so funny because you talk about how many things he's done for them, right? And being all these the exercise videos and all these other things, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's been around a while. But
yeah,
and he anyways, what, like the motion model for like a lot of the wrestling games and stuff for a lot of the characters and stuff. And but at the end of the day, yeah, he's entertaining, and I was really surprised that Well, I wasn't as shocked about the ladder match that he didn't win that, because I understood what they're doing Judgment Day. I was really kind of surprised though with this United States.
They went Escobar over him.
Well, yeah, to set up an Escobar versus Rey Mysterio Jr. It's like, wait, you just put these two together in a faction. What was the point of putting them against each other? And you haven't hinted as to any. You just like, oh, we like to put factions together and then put tension between them to tear them apart. That's what we do at WWE. We can't just let a group run its course, right?
And his catchphrases go, he got over.
Which, let me talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've seen what get over.
Yeah.
Hey,
that wasn't intentional.
You can't, to this day, a pro wrestler can't have a conversation and put a pause, a dramatic pause in a speech.
What?
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 And
Yeah.
it bugs Charlotte Flair to no end. You can see when she does hers and they get it. It's just,
So I now do yeah to Jill, and she hates it because she can tell the difference of when I'm doing my LA night and when I'm
just want to walk into the room with full of kids. Let me talk to you.
Yeah, I did that to her last night. Actually, I walked in the living room. I was like, "Let me talk to you," and she's like, "Not until you stop doing that."
When everybody starts saying LA night.
I wonder if the cats would pop for me if I did that in the living room.
The only thing I can hope, I'm hoping that somehow there's some angle where Mysterio and Escobar can't go against each other for some reason, or there's some sort of interference and whatnot, and they end up making a substitution or something, or making it a three-way or something. But he got dummy over, didn't he? Yes, he did. And that's just straight up. It shows
TNA.
Yeah, it shows you what the difference the gimmick makes. There was like no downtime between his gimmick as Max Dupree and LA Knight. It wasn't like we took you off TV for 2 months to repackage you or something. It was like the next week.
He was just LA Knight again.
Yeah, he was just, nope, I'm not Max Dupree anymore. I'm LA Knight. And people just go, thank God, let's move on, because
the crowd wants to love him. And did you hear the boos when he lost? Those people are like ready to riot for him.
And it's got to be one of the things he does, that it's got to be a Vince thing somewhere in there.
I heard Vince is getting behind him.
Well, once you start making money, sure.
Biggie.
Yo.
How's it going, sir?
Pretty good. Thanks for the invite.
Good morning.
Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that he's entertaining, and that's what's important, really, on half that stuff on that channel. So,
yeah,
exactly. Almost, it's almost as entertaining as Dominic shit, Dirty Dom. So,
I love Dom.
It's just weird. What's really odd to me is to sit there and see, like, if you're like a if obviously kayfabe stuff, but if this was real, just sit there like, okay, if you're like three badasses and you like partner up with this like piece of shit and you're having to fucking carry him all the time, why do you continue to keep him? And A, and B, why do you continue to build him up like he's fucking the greatest thing ever? I mean, it's just
he looks like a bag of potatoes too. Like there's no tone to him.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't got a chance to go through development, which is his develop. He's going through development.
Is that a fancy word for roids?
Yes.
I had a chance to go. He's never been allowed to work out till today, or what?
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's just that he hasn't been in. Oh shit! That's right. I moved my team meeting early. I gotta run. I'll be back.
All right, man.
Explain what Rob meant. Tell us what Rob meant.
I think he meant that young Dom is not quite grown into his man body yet, but you're right. It's not like he can't get a gym membership.
Well, I mean, it ain't like he didn't have an inkling he was going to be a fucking wrestler. Like, come on, man. Like, you're Rey Mysterio Jr.'s dad.
I love that he still has the Eddie mullet, too.
Yeah. Did y'all know that Chavo Guerrero was kind of salty that they was doing the like Latino Heat stuff? Did y'all hear that?
He's extremely salty and has been for a while. I think because he's the only one not drawing a paycheck. I know he doesn't get along with Guerrero, and I do believe it's like it has a lot to do with how Eddie's estate was divvied up. I think Chavo takes issue with the LWO stuff. I think he takes issue off of anybody that finds a way to involve Eddie's memory in matches. Like, he just doesn't want it. Because, ultimately, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but because it's not putting money in Chavo's wallet,
Yeah. I can see that.
And because to Chavo, it's not, Eddie wasn't his own legacy. He's part of, whether Chavo's right or not, Chavo believes that's a Guerrero family thing.
Does Chavo get mad every time someone rides like one of those stick ponies?
Pepe? You talking about Pepe?
That's his legacy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think he's a guy that's unhappy with the wrestling business and probably doesn't like that people are involving his brother and stuff, but not him. You know, why are you paying Vicky Guerrero? Well, you know, that wrestling shows
that ain't free.
Jeez, Mexican Karen. Just, it's awful.
She pulled it off somehow, didn't she?
She made a career out of it, and hats off to WWE for starting that. They were the ones that hired her right after he died. And
I thought she was around before he died. She was around a little bit before he died.
She was around during that that time, but I mean, she didn't get real involved until after he passed.
Yeah.
That's when she became a manager or a GM or what, you know, every company's used her differently. She's been in TNA, she's been in AEW, she's been in WWE multiple times. And you know, that LWO, she was the one that signed off on that because how Eddie's estate was set up, he did have like partial creative control over the LWO. And they had to have her signature to be able to bring that back. And she said she approved it. And Chavo was mad about that. Like, he hates her. I know that. Like,
I tell you what bugged me about
her decision.
I tell you what bugged me about Eddie's passing. I'm pretty sure that like a week or two before he passed, he had that like street match with Big Show. And Big Show's just like power slamming him through a car and shit. That always rubbed me wrong. It was horrible.
We got a $5 super chat letting everyone know that there's a major announcement on In the Mix a week from today.
Nice.
If I pay $10, can you guys just announce it on this show?
There's only one way to find out the answer to that question, Becker.
I'm not giving you $10.
Yeah, In the Mix is on tonight at 9 o'clock. I'm sure a lot of people have been seeing like the little teaser posts and stuff, but we're going to try to do something fun.
All right.
What the hell? Costco. What time do they?
Yo, I'm beat, DJ. This is my happy face. I stayed up till like I don't know, like 3 or 4 in the morning, just reading and going down rabbit holes. Like everyone went to sleep early last night because we were at the water park and over on Jekyll and stuff. And when we came back, everyone went downtown here to the shops on St. Simon, and I just stayed here and took a nap. And they wanted to go pick up some dresses and some cool jewelry they had seen previously, and I just didn't want to go. So I got a nap, and everyone else fell asleep semi-early, but me and my mom stayed up late, like for hours, watching the Y-Files and stuff, just having fun hanging out. Yeah, water park will kill you, dude. And hats off to the water park over on Jekyll because they do it twice a day where they don't like make everyone get off the slides and stuff, but they clear the big wave pool, like the big pool, and they rechlorinate the park. Like they test the waters and everything multiple times a day and keep the cleanliness of it at a very specific point. So I'm like, yo, it's kind of inconvenient to have to clear the pool, but that's awesome. But then everyone goes and it's like a little lazy river and stuff, and all of a sudden you can like feel the chlorine in your eyes all over again. But I feel like I still have chlorine head.
Got some sun. You look like you lost a couple pounds.
I'm sure I'll find them. Don't worry.
Looking good, man.
Thank you. I just wish I could grow the beard like you, sir.
I'm working on it. I'm like two 2 weeks. Not bad.
Your back
Getting there.
beard is long.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that. That's the real shit right there.
Yeah, I'm very much like Joe Dirt. It doesn't grow in right here or right here. It comes in all white trashy.
That's amazing.
That's strong Georgia DNA for you right there.
I got it.
So in high school, someone with a lot of facial hair attempted to rip on me one day for not being able to grow facial hair, and I just pointed out to him that it's because I'm evolved more than him. And I proceeded to call him before the conversation was over, I proceeded to call him a caveman, and yeah, poor evolution won't allow me to grow more hair.
Oh well, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, luckily I live in Georgia, so I don't need any more warmth.
Nah, I don't know why some people are hairier than others. It's just one of them things. I guess my dad was a beast. His fucking chest hair was like an afro. It was crazy.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, what do y'all think about double covers, man? I've been thinking about getting like some double cover keys. My buddy has a Hawk 102 double cover, and
That's a big one.
I like
yeah, I've been
that
looking for double covers.
when they grade them, they take whichever one looks better.
Yeah, I've heard
It's the
that.
metric.
I would always assume like you would have to do the outside, and like even if it's a cover, if it's inside the book, like if there's 2, 3, or more, any of them not on the outside are now just pages.
Yeah, I got my shit in like a bow right now. I don't know if y'all can see that. I got a ponytail geek holder. You guys see it?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
You see your little shrubbery section.
Oh,
You didn't
Right.
turn it far enough. There it is.
There you go.
yeah, it's like a knot. I don't know, just a mess, but
It's the source of your power, baby.
ponytails are a little more endearing than fucking beards, I think. Once you get a long man hair going in the back, it's a little harder to cut. I've had a couple haircuts with it, and I've left the length. You got to trim it though, or it won't keep growing. I don't know how long I could get it. I've had it. This is probably the longest I've ever had it, actually.
How much weight have you lost, Biggie?
Oh, a good 90 pounds. I was
gonna say.
340.
Now, was that just
Yeah.
to get, what was it, your sugar in check or something?
Yeah, I started drinking Dr. Pepper Zeros instead of Mountain Dew, and it helped me with my blood. My ALC was like 14.0. It was like damn near almost in the hospital. And that's when I found out. I was like, oh, okay, I really do have to change. So I did.
It's pretty cool how like small things can have such big effects. Like you said, how you just changed something you drank.
Yeah, that's all it took, really. Well, I couldn't eat like candy bars and shit. Now I can, since my
Yeah, I
ALC
remember
is
you
down to
went
like
pretty-
5.0.
Yeah, you went really stringent. You got really strict for a while.
It was a good 6 months. I didn't need a candy bar. I did. Now I eat gummy worms and gummy bears, but there for about half a year I didn't eat any sugary sweets. I really cut it out, and it wasn't that bad. I hear people talk about losing weight's hard sometimes. I get it. I was like that for a long time, but it's really just making decisions and being strict. Like I make a decision. I'm not going to buy a 1 in 25, or I'm not going to do this, and those are easy, but like cutting out of food is like your natural addiction.
Well, you get used to it's that familiarity. I'm on a specific diet, and it wasn't easy until it was. So I got used to my diet, because there was a lot of things that I enjoyed, a lot of routines that I had food wise. I mean, we eat every day, so food becomes a major routine. It was Kevin Smith who was talking. This was years ago. I saw where he was talking about his diet change that he underwent, and he was talking about food used to be entertainment for him. Like we have to eat to live, but he enjoyed like certain things like donuts and stuff. He just loved them, so he ate them, and it was like a source of entertainment for him to get to go buy the ones he wanted, sit down, have it lay out his whole snack time, turn something on, and enjoy eating them. And he had to just like change that mindset from food being something that was an activity or entertainment to food being just something that was necessary to live, because if he didn't change it in his situation, it was going to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. So
It's definitely different for different folks.
what was I going to say? I forget what I was going to say. Sorry.
Do you love the new Barbie movie?
So I'm trying to get
Not
Biggie
really.
on to Hulk, but he won't. He won't.
Yeah,
do
I
it.
jumped off the boat. I got all the Donny Cates. I got the annual one. And when
It's
my
the
shop
wrong
asked me
run
if I
to
wanted to
have.
continue,
I was about
I
to
know.
say you unfortunately dipped in at a rough time for readers. Yeah, this doesn't even really follow the Donny Cates stuff. This follows
No.
the Immortal stuff. There's in issue 1. This is only issue 2, but in issue 1, they there was like a little, I don't know, like a
Nod to
low
it.
punch. Yeah, there's a low shot that gets taken about the Cates era. Like, we're not addressing the fact that he's not covered in metal anymore, but they do say that the Hulk is mad at Banner for what he put him through. So even the Hulk is upset about that last run, which is
Damn.
pretty funny. Yeah, so Hulk is mad at Bruce over that. What was it, like 14 or 15 issues, somewhere around there?
I feel like now that everybody's on board, that there's no chance for it. That's just the way I am. I don't know.
I don't know. I get that. Like, that's how things are a lot of the times. Like, just
Yeah, once everybody starts buying it, it's like, oops. But
hype
it
is
could
what's
pop. It's
selling it,
probably
not
great.
quality.
Yeah.
You
In my
gotta,
opinion,
but,
it's the more traditional Hulk. It's the monsters and shit. So I've seen that for
Yeah.
years. Like the
yeah,
cake
I mean,
shit,
that's how he
what
started.
it is. But you're right.
I don't know why it is, but like, like especially for a good long while there, everyone like looked at and treated Donny Cates like a rock star, which is really cool to have those kind of creators in comics. Like, people love to be his fan. They love to be in a group of people that are fans of him and this and that. They'll follow his work regardless of the quality, good, bad, or indifferent. With Philip Kennedy Johnson, like, he's got a great fan base, but he doesn't have that status, but he's very well deserving of that status. Like that yeah, I mean,
I would say Philip
rocking,
Kennedy Johnson has the best fan base.
but I've, much like Becker, I've been fanboying for Philip Kennedy Johnson for a while now. I discovered him well after Becker did. I discovered him through DC books, and he single-handedly brought Superman back to what you, Biggie, know and recognize and enjoy the character as. And so, like, when Hulk was in a bad place, Philip Kennedy Johnson was a name that like fans were calling for. Like, this would be a good option. This would be Philip Kennedy Johnson be a good option. So when he hit it, everyone's like, good. We know you saved Superman, so there's no doubt you can save the Hulk. He's not the shambles Superman was for years, So, and in 2 issues, he's already done it. He's already like, yeah, this is exactly what we want. Kind of like what you said, Biggie. That's what Hulk is. He just went straight to what he is. And I told Becker, reading it is like watching a lost R-rated HBO Hulk television show, like Bill Bixby style. Like, he's traveling, dealing with monstrous, horrific stuff.
For some dumbass reason, I kept pulling fucking Venom because I've been pulling Venom since Cates. I just jumped on Hulk. I got a sour taste, and I started looking at some Savage Dragon shit. Even though he only drops like 2 or 3 issues every 4 months, I like the next issue coming out. It looks like a wedding cover, so nobody's getting it besides a couple people. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get that. Yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I might get Hulk though. I might hop back on it. I might have to drop Venom. ASM was good. My Deadpool was good. I bashed the comic book day books a lot, but the stories ain't bad right now. I like the Flexo shit. I like the Doc Ock shit going. That thing's pretty cool.
I miss some of those 90s indie characters. I'm currently reading Exo Man of War that Dark Horse is putting out. And it was kind of like scratching an itch I didn't know was itching. You know, it just feels good to get away from the regular DC Marvel characters a little bit. I know there's plenty of great indies out there, but I'm just not as big into the non-superhero stuff, if that makes sense. I like superhero stuff in comics, whether it's traditional stuff or off-the-wall stuff.
Yeah, me too. Just regular-ass superhero shit.
Mm-hmm.
So have you read Hulk #2, Mark?
Yeah, I read it the day it came out.
I figured.
We talked about it. You saw
Was
me
the
post
Elder in
about
it?
it, and you messaged me.
Oh, yeah,
Was the
yeah,
Elder-
yeah. That moment when the blood turns green, just,
You're like, wait a minute. And then you look at him in the green tint coming up.
Oh, so cool.
I've noticed
So Nick
AEW's
said-
been getting a lot more violent. They're starting to have rules and shit now because of all the violence.
Segnick said that Fantastic Four has been really good, the Jonathan Hickman stuff he's reading. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Becker told me about that too, where the big wigs at AEW added some violence clauses into contracts, like your booker has to approve stuff. We're not chair shotting to the back of the head or power bombing people into the corner.
Buckle
that-
bombs, I believe they're called.
Moxley's
Buckle bomb, that's
awful
it.
creative. He now he's with the bed of nails. They ain't only slamming them on, they're raking people with them now. So there you go. That's fun. Did y'all see that Japanese AEW guy just flop back on the tacks after the match? Like no reason at all. He just wanted a bunch of tacks on his back. Those guys are savages, bro.
He must have needed a good photo promo after the match.
Sheesh.
The Golden Lovers.
Mark looks like he is one of the demigods from the Sandman universe, known to humans only as Salt Life.
Salt Life. You know, the first time I saw those spring up, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I thought it said Slut Life.
Classic Becker.
That's like, damn, these people are really into their lifestyle.
So y'all been doing all right? Everybody been
Yeah, I
doing
just
good?
talked to you last night.
Yeah, we ain't
I've been
Becker
doing
hung out.
great. I've been hanging out in chats, riding around at the beach, listening to live streams.
Yeah, it looks like you've been having fun.
Mm-hmm. Starting
Thinking about going to the
high-profile,
zoo.
dramatic fights on YouTube. That's what I've been doing on vacation.
High profile fights. Those are the only kind I like to be in.
Yeah,
Biggie is in
apparently-
his yard.
Yeah.
He got in his
Q
yard, huh?
Studios is in the building. What is happening, brother?
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Good morning.
Congrats
good morning.
on your 700.
Hey, thank you, sir.
I was
Thank
about
you.
to say, I popped over to give this man a thumbs up, and he had like 50 people in his chat
Nice.
lifting him up on their shoulders,
Yeah,
cheering.
that was a mess. I tried to do that comment generator like right before the show, like make sure everything was prepped, and then they have a premium service now, so you can't do a hashtag.
Yeah, so you
for it.
can, but like the one that we've always used, they're making you pay for it. But I found another one, and it doesn't do like a spinny, like when you hit it, it doesn't flash their names. You just hit it.
I found that one too, yeah, and I was like, it's gonna be too gimmicky. Like I hit the button, and it was like, I forget who came up, but it just went boom, and I was like, no, nobody's gonna like that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't care if they like it. It's free.
I mean,
You know, it's not free is the stuff I'm giving away, the shipping to get it to them.
No.
And at least it shows their comments. So if you tell them to do a hashtag, the cool part would be that one, boom. They didn't follow the rules. You're out. Over the top rope. Next comment.
Yeah, I think there was. I want to say there was like 8 comments that didn't have the hashtag in it, but I was like, you know what, we'll stick with it.
Second, I appreciate that. I've been ridiculously quiet on, like, typically, like, I'll share out like if I hit close to milestones or stuff, but I just looked at it yesterday, and I think I'm about like 70 away from 3K, but because I want to do something for the 3K, I haven't been pushing till I get back home and see what I'm going to do about it. When I get home, I still have the July Legion loot box that I need to promote and put attention on, and then when that's done, so a week from Sunday is when I'll start doing, as Biggie calls it, doing a sub push for 3K. I'm doing an old school Biggie sub push, but not really. You know, Biggie, that's actually how I found your channel. Was when you were back about 2 years ago, you were just kind of doing hangout chats, and you weren't like sitting there like trying to entice people, but you had like just some cool back issue books. You're like, we're gonna do a sub push. I'll share it out. If we hit this many subs, I'll send this book out. Da 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 da. And that's when someone first shared your stream to me. So that stuff works. And I've been watching and rocking with you ever since. You know. Now we hang out on streams. Despite this being Biggie's first appearance on this stream, we do hang out on streams.
Oh, he's been on this.
No, I've been on here.
Before.
Yeah,
no. This is his first appearance, despite appearing here sooner than this. This is his first appearance.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh.
This is his. This is his first intended appearance.
Yes,
this is
just to throw it out
like
there.
X-Men 266.
People message me when I'm talked about on streams. People this and that. So I was listening. Biggie, quote unquote. I don't know why Legion does that. I don't know, because it's the truth. This is your first appearance. We're using Biggie.
I don't know why you do it.
This is your because I just love debating comic books, man.
Everybody knows the argument, but you are like hardcore about it, man.
That was the first time I think I ever had the opportunity to argue those two books, which I feel is like the easiest ones in the world to debate, because it's not like a cameo fool debate. You know what I mean? It's literally just a timeline.
It is good.
Yeah, because Gambit doesn't have a cameo. He only has a first appearance in a distorted release schedule.
I think it's funny when Marcus said, "I'll go by whatever Key Collector
says," and he said it without checking Key Collector, because Key Collector says exactly what I say, which is ironic.
Nice.
They call 266 second appearance.
Appearance, first cover. Rob tried to. Rob never said Key Collector in that comment in that chat, but he tried to give them. He was trying to give them the out without even telling them, because Rob, the usage of words that Rob used was a line straight off Key Collector. Rob's like, to be honest, 266 is the second appearance and first cover appearance. And then I went and looked.
First is a second published appearance. Yeah, it's the first storyline appearance and first cover appearance.
And who was it?
I remember.
I think it was Chaos made a good point. Well, because Marcus said, like, what about the first chronological appearance? Well, there are origin books, there are flashback books. Chaos said, what if they do a throwback book of him as a kid? Like, that's now his first appearance. But yeah,
that would only be a storyline, not
when in terms of comic books, if I'm talking first appearances, I'm not talking about anything as if I'm standing inside of the universe of the characters. I'm only talking as from a reader and purchaser of comics in the real world. I'm coming from that perspective only. Which one did I buy first? Which one was on sale first? Which one can you first open and see the character's appearance in? But there's other ways you can look at it, but
even the argument of saying, okay, well, what if later on they go and do a backstory where they feature this person as a younger age? And it still didn't matter, because that story is a look back story that's published later. So it's still not even like the first storyline. It might be just a chronological if you took this person and stretched their life out on a timeline, but that nobody even looks at that. No collector would care about that necessarily.
Well, I'll tell you the one that bugged me with Mark. It wasn't the fucking Gambit. That don't bother me. The one that bugged me was the Hulk Annual 5 not being second Groot. I was like, nah, bro. You're not going to do that.
I caveated that, and I said the other one is a reprint. The Where Monsters Prowl is a reprint.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the same thing at all. Like that's just
no.
A reprint isn't the same thing. That's just something that people don't know about those Where Monster Prowl books, which are fantastic, like monster books. They have some original content in them. That wasn't the same.
AR says, I've said it before, but when I handed Claremont my annual 14 and said, would you sign the first appearance of Gambit? All he said was sure, so debate ended. That's bullshit because never in his life has Claremont talked that little and just said sure. No, he gave a 20-minute dissertation on something that had nothing to do with Gambit for 20 minutes. No way.
I'll go back to this whole the earlier story thing.
Oh,
and to prove that point, to set the rest of that whole idea of going back and telling an old story. Has anybody ever considered the story when they go back and show the Batman origin of Bruce Wayne as a little kid and try to say that Batman's appearance as a kid in the alley was his first appearance?
Oh.
No. Nobody did that. It's his origin.
I think for the sake of arguing, I'll start trying just for Biggie, so I can entertain Biggie. I'll try that one out in the crowd, Biggie, next time I find an opportunity.
God damn.
I think what the community calls drama though is kind of weak because I remember.
Sorry.
And Biggie, it wasn't you. It was Bleeker made a kind of we had some drama on the stream. That whole exchange between Whodat and Legion
Very
took
minor.
3 minutes.
Right.
Legion's on vacation. Mark wasn't even doing much in chat.
He told me he got rewatch it. I did, and it was just literally like 2 comments. Like I
was down on. I had to call Becker. I don't care, little buddy. Y'all can work it out. I was down on the pier wandering around downtown while they were looking in shops and stuff. So I had terrible signal. And I couldn't even respond in real time and stuff. So I ended up calling Becker, and I couldn't even hardly get him on the phone. So I'm like, I'll just watch later. Bum me out. So find out later when I went back and looked at it, our chats were the timeline on us talking back and forth was so out of sync. There would be like comments between us and stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I guess with my thing with Whodat and Mark is that days later circumstances is bringing it up, but it's like neither Mark nor Whodat woke up the next day with like, oh, that guy really they both forgot about it, and then everybody else is trying to keep it going. Like that's so ridiculous. That's just weak. It's weak drama. Like, do you guys know what an actual argument is? Because if you thought that was an argument.
Oh, do we have actual argument in the chat?
Actual argument in the chat.
That's gotta be Tyler.
I think it's fun just to debate this stuff.
Yeah.
If I see an opening to debate or argue with someone about comic books, I tend to take it.
I gotta get Legion on the club, but he does the show with DJ Link.
He's in the mix.
Oh, dude, that's easy. Just change the day and time you do it.
Yeah, right.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I get that every once in a while from people. What about?
Or I can wait for y'all to take a month break like that.
And also, I'll say he just took a break. I missed that call.
Well, y'all go every week too, so that's kind of tough. Oh well, maybe I'll do a special for Mark.
An actual answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to come on there and hang out.
Well, it don't take nothing. Like the biggest domestic violence fights start over like a piece of cornbread. So that's not the topic. Ain't the fucking argument. It's the deep inner fucking layers is what's the topic. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, bro.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Yeah. Took the last piece of pizza or something. Like me and my girlfriend fight over it dumb as shit. And
I'm
it gets really ramped up.
Pineapple.
Dude, she really gave you the business the other day when she took over the yard.
Oh yeah. People wonder where I get it from. It's all around me all the fucking time. She bro, I can't have Melody on stream, dude. She would fucking destroy me, bro. She's the only fucking person. That's probably why I love her so much. That can embarrass the fuck out of me, dude.
Well, there was that one point where you sat back down and you're like, yeah, never mind, I'm not going then. And I was like, oh, he's going. Because I could already hear it in her voice.
I had to remind her that I told her yesterday, like I'm not involved, but that didn't get over. I just had to say it though. I saw this coming.
Now that, for those keeping track, is an actual argument.
Yeah.
Legion and
I could have got fucked up.
I'd like to have an argument.
Who-Dat's great, man. Who-Dat is legit, like, smart fucking dude, though. Let's not skip past that. Like, Who-Dat's pretty bright. No, I'm just saying. I just want to say it while I'm here. Yeah. No. I know nobody's saying that
he wasn't. I'm just saying he wasn't. Neither one of them, to me, was being disrespectful to the either.
No, absolutely not. I don't. If they were, I missed it. I didn't.
Yeah, I certainly didn't.
I got on the stream after. And they were all like, "Well, that was interesting." I was like, "What?"
I thought it was a little lighthearted argument.
Yeah. Well, I'm more referring to like how circumstances declared it later.
I'm not worried about how nobody else viewed it. The only people that mattered to me would be the person I was talking to, and I thought it was pretty lighthearted. There was literally laughing emojis in my comments and stuff. Like at the time, I didn't think he was taking it too seriously until he got on stream and started talking about ending all wars. For some, I don't know how it shifted to ending all wars.
Who is this?
I don't know.
Who-Dat on that stream. No,
yeah.
During that conversation, like I went back like watch and see what I missed, because I lost signal, and he ended up getting on the panel and talking about this is how wars are started and world peace and something.
Oh.
And Becker taking words and twisting them, starting.
Oh yeah.
Wars.
That's what I.
That was about the meat of it.
Go back,
I'm an emotional being.
Remy, go back.
Let's see. Remy, you're muted.
Remy's about to pull up that fire.
You're talking about this?
Yeah, this is. I've chased that book for years and years just to find it out of Steam.
This is the one that Angel
mine's all beat
home. She was like, "Yeah, I did something." And I was like, "What'd you do?" And she's like, "I bought a wall book." And I was like, "What was it? And how much?"
That's definitely a wall book.
And then she showed me that, and I was like,
"All right."
Well, because she was like, "It's a Gambit book," and I was like, "Which one?" She's like, "It's got his name like big." I was like, "Yeah, I got two of those." I was like, "One's graded."
You ain't got that one.
Yeah.
She's like, "No, it's gold," and I was like, "It's gold." And
wait, what?
Like, no, you didn't get that.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
I was showing that this is the annual that I got. I got this with Cardboard Crazies 2 years ago. I left the price tag on it because it was in $1, man.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
it's normally a $30, $40 book in good condition.
I tell you, CGC's grading is not what it used to be.
No, they're very fast and loose with grades these days.
Yes, indeed. I mean,
you can take it the rest of the way.
I'm like looking at this. I just got this back, this from the Alex Ross signing a while back. All right, came back in 9.8, but I was like, "Oh, really? I got a 9.8 on it." I was kind of surprised. I was expecting it to come back in 9.6 because there's some. I can't even. It's not going to show up here, but there's some color rub and stuff along here on this bottom corner. And I'm like, "Oh." I'm looking at it, man. It's not just
there. He is
one little minor touch. There's enough of it. I'm like, really? You guys count that as like a 9.8 now? Insane.
There's circumstances.
Yeah, there's been a few of people sharing and posting kind of similar things. Like, hey, I'm surprised I hit this. Surprised I hit that.
I mean,
yeah. The lie detector determined that
was a lie. Good morning, Marcus. Good morning, Lady Fantastic. Good morning, Phil Streethouse, Evil Mike.
The only thing that bugs me about the annual is I think that it refers to 266.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
it says previously. It says I believe it says previously.
Yeah,
right,
you can go. No, that's because it was a shipping error. It was a distribution error. The book, the annual came out 2 months before 266. So that's a little bit more than just like a basic distribution area. Like that's a.
I
That's
thought it was a
big
couple weeks. 2
distribution area.
months is a big chunk of
It's
time. I thought it was just
2
a couple
months.
weeks, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's two
Damn.
months. Publication or 2 months different. But now you can go for just context, Biggie. You can go grab a book off the shelf, not at your shop because they don't sell DC, but it came out 2 months ago. Also, it's called Titans 1 by Tom Taylor. Inside Titans #1, you'll see writer's notes and blocks that refer you to a book that isn't released until October.
Holy shit.
And that's so that means nothing also. But I do know that it's referring to 266 because of the distribution thing, but just using that as like a metric and standard isn't going to work either.
Yeah,
example, right.
One of the things that happened was especially more prevalent back earlier is you had storylines would be mapped out and stuff and issues this concept, and people would work on these things in these different groups, and they would write things that would reference things that were going to be coming up or whatnot. But then there would be various production issues that would delay the production because they weren't necessarily always all coming out of the same distribution or printing house either. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, things come out of order, and it happened somewhat.
Stuff happens
regularly.
like if you're Louise Simonson and Rob
I think
Liefeld changes your entire issue and you rage quit.
You leave Power Pack.
Out of the two covers, I think the annual is more dynamic too, honestly. Like Art Adams killed that shit, bro. I would take that over to Kubert all day.
I think that the money book should most certainly be 266 though. Out of the two of them, I don't think I'm not a believer that just because it says first appearance that it inherently should be worth more. There's numerous books out there. Like, look, I think the Black Suit Spidey is a great example. You have the Marvel Team Up, you have 252, you have Secret Wars. There's so many books tied to that black suit, and Secret Wars is the one that everybody wants overall, and it's not the first appearance of the suit.
Well, I think 252 is the biggest book, right? 252 is the big one.
I think Secret Wars is. I could be wrong, but I was on Rob's checking out. I could be wrong, but even the fact that 252 and the Marvel Team Up aren't like neck and neck in value, being that they released the same week, they hit shelves the same day.
Okay.
So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the market's going to determine what they like, and I fully agree with that.
Well, Rob looks at
my argument never is about financials, this or that. It is all, like, you won't ever hear me debating that. It's always just the first time you saw somebody. I'm talking I'm talking chronological appearances.
Gotcha.
And that's because, like, there's so many different angles we can look at this stuff as. So people get lost in the weeds, especially with Gambit. Like, Remy knows this. Mike knows this. Finn's first name is actually Remy. He's named after Gambit. I love Gambit. And so when people, like, it's weird that people just seem to just now learn, like, in the last couple of years, that the annual is his actual first appearance, or started debating about it.
Or you should just have both.
DGC called it a cameo for years when it's not a cameo. He's in 15 panels. He's running around with Cable. He's fighting. He's talking. He's using his powers. It looks like he's moving and interacting in that book like he's been around for years. It's not a cameo. Then someone said, oh, it's just a flashback when he was a baby. No, it's not that. People just didn't know. That's a cool piece of comic history that gets misidentified because people don't know the history. So calling it anything but what it is kind of just swerves that fantastic story attached to it, and one of those things that happens in comics.
I just want to get back to Wheezy rage quitting Marvel for 1 second because AR said something about it, and so did Lady F. I just think the reason she rage quit and the job she left for are really funny when you look at it looking back. She left Marvel specifically because Bob Harris pissed her off because he kept allowing Rob to throw her scripts out and do weird stuff. And she's like, I'm done with this short-term storytelling. I'm done with, character deaths. I'm done with flashy new characters to try to sell books.
And then Rob shows
BS. I'm gonna go to DC and I'm gonna get back to real storytelling. No more of this gimmicky stuff. Mark, what job did she leave Marvel for?
She left Power Pack, right?
No, she left New Mutants.
New Mutants. Did she go to Power Pack?
She rage quit Marvel. Nope, she rage quit Marvel. She was tired of brand new characters, gimmicky deaths, and too many covers.
She went to Superman.
She went to Death of Superman. She ran the Death of Superman.
Holy
was her
shit!
that was her brainchild. She just said, "Why don't we kill him?"
All right. So the answer to
Holy
your question
shit!
is, Big E's right. The ASM 252 is the big book. In a 9.8, it goes for about $1,500. Interestingly enough,
Ooh.
a 9.6 is a major value at only $400.
That's where it's at.
Damn.
That's where it's at.
And when you go to Secret Wars 8, a 9.8 is about $600, whereas
Okay.
a 9.6
That's down.
the 9.6 is about $400. So in a
That's a
9.6
huge difference.
in a 9.6 the books are almost equal, but in a 9.8 the two, and I'm only looking at direct editions, the 252, huge difference
Okay.
on that from what came up.
I
Now
remember in the last couple of years that book ran also. Like 252 ran during that COVID hike. You know, when 300 ran up, everyone started attacking those other ones.
Well, fucking First Gambit or whatever you want to call it, the fucking 266 was 1,700, dog, for a 9.8, bro. Now it's like 700.
Yeah. So I have a perfectly minty graded 266 and a 9.6 because it's a miscut off the printer press, and that's not even supposed to hit against it. I don't even own a great grade copy of the annual. I've got mine in like a 9.0,
and I'm just
and
making
I'm
sure.
happy with that.
So I just looked at the sales data, not just the last sold data.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, in the last 3 months, a 252 and a 9.8 has sold from anywhere from a low of, looks like the low was about $1,100. There was one low, but the majority of these sales are in the 1,600 range with a high of 1999.
What up?
So anywhere from
Bert?
that's a huge swing. A low from 1,000 to a high of 2,000, essentially.
Where's the 141 at? That thing's like nothing compared to the rest, isn't it?
What title is that one? That's the Marvel
Team Up 141, I think.
Mm.
That one just doesn't
It's
get the
about,
love that the others get.
it's about like a Web of Spider-Man one on that level, probably.
Web of Spider-Man's at the time the end of the symbiote suit, right? I think that's its key factor. The one where he's like crouched on the gargoyle.
Yeah, the first one he's symbiote, but I don't know. I never had a Web 2, I don't think.
So
anyone has
a 9.8. A 9.8 is about $870 to $900. With
that's better than the fucking Secret Wars.
With a 9.6 at about 350, so just slightly
Son
less
of a bitch.
than 400. So in a 9.6, all three books very similar in price. It's the 9.8 that makes that difference, which is really interesting.
Hello, Eman.
I would be fine having all three of those in a 9.6 rather than having the 252 and a 9.8. That's just me. E-Man, your thoughts?
I think it's all bullshit, to be honest with you.
Well,
it is.
It's funny. It's funny. Before you showed up, that's what Biggie was saying about you. But you know,
it's utter and complete bullshit. I just don't understand why any of this is happening the way it does. I mean, I understand market inflation and whatnot. You know, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. I'm just here for the drama.
Do you understand market inflation? Please tell us. Tell us about market inflation. No.
Let me tell you about
Bird
market
Family
inflation.
54 Comics. Hello.
It sucks. I like how where is it?
He says, "Here's my market inflation. I know that it used to cost me $4 for a pint of beer, and now it's $7 for a pint of beer."
Right? It's like that scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's $9 beer night. You know,
fucking butter's like $4. Everything's expensive.
Yeah. Remember when eggs?
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Do y'all think there's any overvalued books right now? I had a video.
Just
I
a
was
few
doing
100,000.
200,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What was it? What came out last week?
Right.
or definitely that Venom gold foil. There you go. There's one that's super overvalued.
I always thought that ASM 300 gold foil was.
What's
good,
wrong with the
and it's
Venom gold
not.
foil? I like it.
No, the ASM 300. That's a reprint. I thought it might have been like a real book, but it's not.
Becker, I'm not
the real
talking
one.
about the Lethal Protector. I'm talking about the Venom issue 23 that came out this week. That the incentive with the logo foil, whatever, $600.
You know what's overvalued? Any of you idiots out there chasing that? What's that new one that came out? That Void Rivals.
Oh,
that's complete. Come on,
they've only done that story a million times. Yeah,
I mean,
E-Man is throwing chum in the water right now.
Going into Transformers. Holy shit!
You Transformer dorks out there, I don't understand what your guys
Holy
are doing.
shit!
Why don't you show us that jam
piece? Yeah,
you fucking love Transformers, E-Man. What are you talking about? You got a signed G1 box.
Yeah, overvalued. Nobody.
Now people can see his background. Move your head, E-Man. Move your head back. Hey.
More than meets the eye.
Well, you're at it, E. Would you tell us how about artists? What artists do you think how do you think of John Jang? Is he overrated too?
John Jay is very.
John Jay is overrated. Aaron Bartling is overrated. John Boy Myers. These, Ariel Diaz. These artists are
like a Peach Momoko.
Peach Momo. I mean, who
I'll agree on that one.
This? Who chases
Austin
this, really?
Over Peach.
Austin over Peach.
Who chases this, really?
And when it comes to podcasts, how about those see this villains?
Stephanie Hahn didn't last that long. Everybody was on her shit for a while.
Someone's gonna clip this and send it over to John Jay. Look what your boy was saying. Hey,
Already have.
He's in the chat right now.
He just joined to hear the tail end of that.
I'm kidding. I love everyone. That's the reason why.
Maybe they're priced okay. I saw a Night 8 for like 200. That ain't too bad, I guess. I don't know.
Explain the character at the end of Void Rivals.
It's about number 2.
I haven't read number 2 yet. I'm actually.
It had the space scavenger race that has like the meteor base from like Gen 2 stuff. They look like pigs almost. They're space scavengers. They have a name. I forget off the top of my head.
Don't know.
They were new to me, but I looked them up. There's a weird word that they're called. I forget.
G2. When you say G2, are we talking about the Japanese cartoon G2 or?
I have no clue because I don't know how they're delineated. But when I looked it up, that's what it said.
Pigman. What is this? Pigman. What?
I'm just tired of when I buy a book from a whatnot seller. If they handle it too rough and it's not a 9.8 when I get it, I'm sending it back.
Oh, let me sit down. Oh shit.
Oh
yeah, that jam piece that I'm gonna do that with a couple of the Void Rivals and probably do giveaways in the future. But that first jam piece, that's all mine. I'm not doing anything with that one. But
man, that is looking good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So like the look. So the one that was really funny to me was the look that JR gave me. I walked right up. The thing is, his line, there was no one in his line, which was like unheard of. Everyone was waiting for Tynan. That's why. And Tynan was right across the way from JR when I went in on Sunday. And so I walk right up to him and I was like, look, I was honest. I was like, look, I know of your work, John, and I know
I've heard of your name.
I've heard
mostly because your dad.
But I was like, you know what? I don't have anything that that you've done, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. However, I was wondering if you would do this for me, And he looked at me. He's like, I don't even know what that is. What is that? I showed him a picture of Jetfire. He's like, what? Well, why did they draw his helmet like that? And he just went ahead and sketched it right fast. And I was fully ready to, fork up, a good chunk of change because it's JR. He's like, don't worry about it. $40. What? Busted out my credit cards. All right, cool. There you go. $40 for a JR sketch of Jetfire, which has nothing to do with anything he's ever done in the past. But
that's right.
Totally relevant.
But that's cool.
Totally relevant to the book that I had him do that on. So that was like
$20, little man. Cool. Put that shit in my hand.
Get that money.
This is the jam piece I just effectively finished for now.
Oh, that's
E-Man.
Dope.
Nice.
I don't know what those are. What is that?
I don't even know what a jam piece is.
It's when you get more than one person.
Wow.
I gotta look those up. Mark. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it, or maybe I haven't. It was just in passing. Wait, weren't they for any Transformer fans out there? Weren't they like in season 4 with the Headmasters and the Target Masters?
They were they were later in it, so I don't know.
Make me big for a second, Mark.
Yeah, throw that book back.
You're awesome. We love you. You're so cool.
Look at
that doesn't do
that's
it.
a good looking shirt you got.
You
on,
want to make
Becker.
yeah, right?
Becker.
Wow.
So this is my jam. This is Marvel Editor in Chiefs. Roy Thomas, Jim Shooter, Joe Quesada, CB Cebulski, and Tom DeFalco. He said that's Peter Parker. I don't know. It's kind of weak.
Damn. Who do you think the best father-son duo is?
Well,
in art.
In art,
that's got to be JR, right?
Cuberts?
I'm gonna think on that.
Oh shit!
Cubert's
Marcus
pretty
came to
good.
fight.
Yeah, the Cuberts.
Marcus came to fight.
Pretty good.
Marcus is like, hold on.
Makes me more aerodynamic when I fight.
Shit, yeah.
It's a kimono.
Oh,
dog.
I just had
Oh,
coffee
God.
go up my nose.
So Marcus has a
my
question.
phone.
Though he's here, I'm going to ask it for him. He put it into the chat. It said,
Why are you dressed like that, Mark?
"Did E-Man get the jam?"
Because it's hot, dog. It's hot.
Don't you have a
Oh,
job?
I can't show the gun. I'm off today.
Oh man.
Can I be
You
Bert
are?
for a day without getting heat from you motherfuckers? Damn.
Hi, Marcus.
Is it jealousy because I'm beautiful? Is that what it is?
It's jealousy because I'm going to
Always
work right now.
jealous anytime.
Hey,
I'm
Kenny, I
choosing
just
it.
For some
I'm
reason,
Marcus,
choosing
I
I
it.
just clipped it and I put you as my backdrop on my monitor now.
Yeah.
I need another.
I deserve
to
another.
work, but you're
I
gonna
needed
go,
another video of Marcus dancing with the
You're
something
gonna
is
go
killing the
help a
children
few
book.
heavyweights out of the ring. Like you look. I feel like you're gonna go coach some heavyweights right now.
You do have a little string
It's like the
hanging from your
mustache.
tank top,
The
though,
whole
dude.
thing is there. Like that's it.
What are you
Oh,
talking
sorry,
about?
that's your arm.
That's really funny
That
coming
was
from
funny.
you, Beckerman. That's really funny.
So
That was
Marcus,
funny.
Marcus, to answer
I'm
your
a
question,
pinnacle of fitness.
to answer your question, you guys. Marcus asked if I got the idea for the jam
It's
piece
Beckerman's
from
fitness in
Beckerman
that
or Mark.
shirt.
Honestly, I didn't even know what a jam piece was until about 2 years ago when my boys on the C-List Villains podcast showed me what a jam piece was. And so I've thought about that for quite a while. And then when I got the Void Rivals blanks, all of the blanks that I didn't even know came in the box that I ordered, I was like, oh, I have an idea. I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con. Let me start a jam piece because Red and Luke gave me that idea. I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get everyone to do Jetfire on this one book. And so that's where I got the idea from, Marcus.
Well, I know Beckerman got it from Burke, so I just didn't know if you got it from
Yeah.
Burke. So that's cool. That's real cool.
Nice setup there, String Bean.
I'm going to beat your ass tomorrow, Beckerman, you motherfucker.
You won't. A lot of people say that, but they never do it.
Actually, I'm just going to buy you some pizza. How many
Is this the
slices
new
of pizza
drama
you
that
want
we-
tomorrow?
I'm really excited about that Minsky's pizza.
Look, like I
I am
said,
too,
like I
actually.
said right here, I'm here for the drama. That's why I'm here
Yeah,
today.
this is that drama that
You
everybody's
want-
looking for.
Drama.
You want drama? You got to ask Chaos about what happened in an X-Men comic.
Is this what you guys were
You're
talking about
muted,
earlier?
Chaos. You're muted, Chaos, and you're here finally, so we have to talk about it.
I don't come onto your stream to talk about X-Men, but you always
That's not true.
draw.
It depends on who you ask.
Nobody really wants to talk about X-Men. That's why
I don't read X-Men, so I need you to talk about X-Men. Yeah, there was waves through the comic reader community about what happened in X-Men, so much so that I went and read that issue.
Well, that's because you only follow me and John's Comics with Kids. That's why you didn't
Correct.
realize. Yeah,
Very
that's
correct.
yeah. Your IG is two follows.
No, y'all are the two X-Men enthusiasts that I know that actually read them and get excited and share about them and make content about them, and I appreciate that. Like I enjoy that kind of content, especially when I'm not following something because
I'm the same way.
It had me pick up a comic. You know, that's a comic that I didn't buy otherwise. And I'm not having a clue what 97% of what was going on in that book, nor do I even recognize over half of the characters in there.
Even the one you did recognize, which was Mr. Sinister, that's not actually Mr. Sinister. So
that's what I thought until I watched your This a Thick One video.
yeah. Well,
I mean, they finally realized that Krakoa was an ethnic state, and they had to break it up. I guess that's what they finally
I
realized.
didn't know that Mr. Sinister had 4 clones running around.
Yeah, that's pretty recent. So Mr. Sinister doesn't have 4 clones running around. Nathaniel Essex has 4 clones running around. One of
Mr.
them
Sinister
is
one
Mr.
of them.
Sinister. Yeah.
And then Mrs. Sinister or something like that. And then somebody with a weird name that could fit into a Harry Potter universe. And then the guy that who was the one that we saw that looks just like him?
He's the one without the mutant gene. So he works for
what's his name?
Oh, Dr. Stasis.
Dr. Stasis, yeah.
He's the one without the mutant gene, and he's been working. I mean, they do the long tail stuff, because in the last Hellfire Gala there was this like somewhat pointless page that, you know, I've just seen people reference now of him working, and he the whole time what he was doing while the Hellfire Gala was going on, he was poisoning all of the medicines that the mutants have been giving the humans.
Yeah, they took a page out of the Kingsmen, and they distributed all the good stuff and hid the killer. We're gonna make everyone go rabid inside of it. We just flipped the switch.
Yeah, pretty much. And then at least Professor X thinks, I don't think he actually, Professor X thinks he just sent 250,000 mutants into a meat grinder. But I'm pretty sure they're on the island that the female Mr. Sinister that you saw, she put it in a little...
The other Krakoa?
The other Krakoa, the Atlantic Krakoa? Yeah.
You said she has the Atlantic one in like the palm of her hand, right? Like they transported them into some little sphere.
But she's the Sinister based on magic. So she's in a... it's like she's on the astral plane or some shit.
I'm pretty excited with what they're doing with Firestar. It looks like she's going to have a bigger role, so...
Yeah, I'm excited for that too, because they made a big deal about putting her on the X-Men last year, and then she didn't do shit.
Do you know how many votes I gave her last year?
So it was you.
Yeah. Well, it was my New Warriors group on Facebook. We've been together for a really long time, and we definitely juiced the numbers.
Well, that was the problem. That's the problem with the vote, though, is like, okay, Firestar was a surprise to put on the X-Men, but then like these stories are all told or all made up like a year or more in advance, right? So they didn't do shit with her. And now it's like, now you're starting to see the fruits of what, of them thinking something to do with her, because that she won the vote and she gets on the book.
For those wondering though, like why this book's getting talked about so much is it's a red wedding issue. It's an absolute slaughter.
Oh,
like it's all nice and gala
and
everything, and it's all nice and gala looking and everything, and they introduced the new X-Men team with Dazzler and Jubilee and Juggernaut there, and a bunch of characters I've never even
Juggernaut.
seen
Juggernaut's a good guy.
Cannonball is there on the team, and there's a page splash, and they all look pretty lame in their little ball outfits. And you turn the page, and Nimrod, a giant, basically Juggernaut android,
Nimrod. It's an advanced Sentinel.
Yeah, he comes slamming down onto him. And literally, it decimates them. I mean, their body parts flying everywhere, this and that, and you're like, oh wow, this just went very Image Comics all of a sudden. And then Iceman, like I don't know when he became a tough guy, but he's not. And he come running up like he's going to do something, and Nimrod pulls out a red hot spike and just stabs Iceman with it, and it stays in him, and he just melts him down to like a skeleton.
He's back next week. He has his own ongoing. He's back next week.
I knew that ongoing was coming. Is that ongoing set in current continuity? Is it a throwback?
No, that one's a current continuity one.
And then a couple more pages, you have Jean Grey trying to stop people from being rabid using her powers, and someone comes up behind her and just stabs her straight through the chest. And she's now
it was a red wedding.
She's now slow dying. And then you have Juggernaut fighting Nimrod. He gets fastballed special, which was pretty cool, but Nimrod comes dragging him back up to the beach eventually he said he beat his head in. We didn't get confirmation, but as far as we know, his helmet's holding a can of soup. We don't know for sure. All the while, the bad guys are forcing all the good guys onto the concentration trains and sending them through their portal gates back to Krakoa. Just little did they know, none of them landed where they were told they were going. They're all just gone. No one knows where they are. There's a couple little hints or things you see that might make you wonder, but it leaves you on red with Professor X not being able to get a read on anyone, thinking that they're all dead. So it was a red wedding issue. It was just
that
violent.
actually sounds dope.
It was pretty wild.
I don't read.
It's pretty cool.
X-Men,
First time
and
ever. This
spoiler
Go ahead,
right
E-Man.
here is
Sorry.
just this spoiler right here just makes me want to go back and read like what led up to it. Because
Oh no, that's impossible.
No, you don't want to do that.
Do you want me to make the sale here, E-Man? Nimrod is a robot from the future created by John Romita Jr.
Oh, I know that. I know
Yeah,
that name.
there you
I've
go.
heard this name before. John Romita Jr. Gotcha.
You need to do
Alright,
a
so this
Nimrod.
sounds very
A Nimrod
Terminator-ish.
grand piece.
Go ahead. So is there like a long history before this right here? Do I
Yeah,
have to
no,
go
This
back
is
and read,
cool.
like,
This
how
is pulling from stuff from like 50 titles over 5 years kind of thing.
Yeah,
you might
it
as
is.
well
I mean,
jump. You might as well jump in at this point because it's an event. And if you like with
It's the-
comics, it's just be like that sometimes. You just have to jump in and just hang out till. I mean, you'll understand the plot. You won't recognize the people all the time, but you'll get to know them. You'll learn them as they're important in the story, and the rest are just supporting cast that you don't have to know. You just.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
it's-
that tells it. This is probably the closest thing to a jump on point since Hickman got on, though, because I don't know that Krakoa is coming back, or that at least the Fool, like we all live here and it's a party, sort of Krakoa. I don't know that it is coming back.
Well,
So it's
obviously,
still
all
the
these
Hickman
characters
storyline.
that just died are going to get instantly resurrected. Because that's like the X-Men's thing right now is nobody can die. I mean, they can die. They can just bring them right back to life.
No, the five got pushed through into the meat grinder. You need 5 mutants, so the resurrection was always flimsy because you need these 5 mutants. One of them's replaceable because it just needs a telepath, but you have these 5 mutants that are doing all the resurrection, and they got pushed into that meat grinder. So for the moment,
it's not a meat
you can
grinder.
die.
You keep using that term. They went through a portal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the term that they used in there. Like Professor X thinks he just shoved everyone in there. So there's just a whole bunch of mutants, at least for now, that are off the table.
Yeah,
Right.
hold on. Help me understand something real fast. And I might be going a little bit off tangent, but I thought there was something in the Marvel world where in order for someone to be resurrected, a human life needed to be sacrificed. Didn't that happen in a Marvel book?
That's the Eternals. Whenever the Eternals, so what Kieran Gillen did to change the Eternals is they would die and come back to life. That's a Kirby thing, right? All the time. The thing that Kieran Gillen added a year or two ago, whenever he was doing it, is that actually what happens when every time that you die, every time that you do one of these crazy sacrifices, a random human actually dies.
Oh, okay. Well,
and so when they do that, now they can die and come back, but now for the Eternals at least, it's a little bit of a, you got to go, okay, I'm saving 5 million people, but some kid in Bangladesh is going to die or something. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the Eternals sort of disappeared since that event. Not disappeared, but they don't have their own book or anything like that.
Yeah, because the last thing that I read was like Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, and I thought that was actually okay. Like I kind of enjoyed it, but I also have zero knowledge. Yeah, I have zero knowledge of what happened to either teams before that. It was fun to me, but yeah, I haven't seen the Eternals around in the comic books instead. Okay, so I got things mixed up. Thank you, Chaos, for telling me that there's 927 books that I have to read before the Red Wedding. Gotcha.
Yeah, you don't have to just read the Red Wedding if you want to read one, and it's $8.99. So go ahead and pirate it. I give you free.
We do not promote pirating.
No, I don't.
Unless, of course,
read it and then go.
you have your own schooner equipped with cannons, in which case, by all means, live the pirate's life.
You don't
Listen, go pirate it and read it today, but then buy all 7 $8.99 variant covers.
Because it's
not
pirate's life.
schooner, it's a sailboat.
Hey guys, I gotta make a phone call. I'll come back to y'all or so on.
That reference.
Tell them we said hey.
You got that reference?
All right, guys.
I got that.
Later,
reference.
Thank you. I'm glad someone.
So the best thing we can recommend, Eman, is say you should read it digitally.
Whenever people say that, I know what they're really doing.
Yeah, so maybe you should say that. This platform is not a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? That's one of this platform's hot words.
You know what? I should probably look into one of these subscriptions to read digitally. That sounds like a good way for someone like me to jump on in.
Everybody knows Mark's a pirate.
Arr.
I'm on vacation and I read my entire pool digitally, which, as y'all saw, like you saw my IG, like I was, like I had a blast just digitally reading everything. But
Why do you say it like that?
When I was in Poland, I had to read digitally.
It was I had a blast, and I was able to read everything digitally. And now when I go back home,
Easy
before I
for you
even
to
pull up my shop, I'll tuck into the LCS that's right outside my neighborhood and pick up a paper copy of all of those books that I read digitally.
That's what I had.
So would you recommend reading DC digitally as well?
Oh yeah,
Mark? Is
definitely.
that a fantastic way?
Digitally.
I think it's good if you're reading anything. Like for me, I have the DC Universe app. So like I'm able just to read all my DC digitally over there. Unless it came out like today.
I can't.
You know what I mean? Because even with the Ultra app, it's like a week or two behind kind of thing. It comes out. So I'll read it digitally on a different place.
I think Marcus went to go lift some weights.
That's
for a minute.
That's a good way to catch up on comics, especially for things, for people like me who don't know things about, X-Men, is to look online and sign up for one of these subscription-based, digitally comics, so you can read them digitally. I like that. Thank you very much, Mark, for that point. Really appreciate it.
Chaos, do you use the Marvel Unlimited or Comixology? Where do you read your stuff digitally?
I use all three, and Hoopla.
That's the library.
I actually do read like digitally, legally, probably most of the time.
Digitally?
The word of the day.
Digitally.
A digitally.
So,
is that when you count things?
but yeah, I pay for DC, I pay for Marvel.
That's a
Pay for
digitally.
comics all.
Phalanges.
My ancestors were in the Red Wedding, and I have been arrested for crimes on the water. This whole conversation is super offensive to Celtic pirates.
To Celtic.
The Celtic pirates.
I didn't believe. I thought when you guys are posting pictures of aggressively from Heroes Con, I actually did think you were just.
Yep, exactly.
Really relaxing for a minute.
Like,
it took me a minute to realize, that's really him. I thought you were just picking a random guy and then saying he was aggressively relaxing.
I think I responded in one of my posts. I put in there, shout out to the guy that let me take this selfie with him. Like I put that in one of mine just as a throw off.
Yeah, and it threw me off. But then I saw him others. I thought it became the joke. Like that you're just taking pictures with this guy. Because listen, I never heard him consent. I saw everyone respecting Comic Journey. No one respected aggressively.
Well, if you met him, you'd understand why.
Well, I'm also going to put this out there. If y'all would actually go check out Aggressive's channel, he doesn't hide his face.
He does.
He has numerous videos of himself up doing stuff and everything. I've known what Sean's looked like for like his whole time on here.
No, I watch his videos. I watch his radio. I've been on his radio show.
No, you do it.
Ooh, he's got a radio show.
Biggie's back.
Let's tell me more about this radio show.
I'd say next time we pick somebody from the community nobody's seen and pick a random guy. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just
start
start
posing with this dude
with him and start posting them throughout the week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go. I won't show my face ever for the next year, and then I'll go to Heroes Con next year, and then everyone could be like, "Oh, he showed his face."
No, we won't care.
Yeah. Well, that was an idea.
We need a face we haven't seen. We need the next Comic Journey to pop up in the community.
No, we only need the one. We really just need the one.
I just meant the sense of someone not showing their face.
I was joking.
I just want to see. I just want to see a whole video of just someone's mouth talking, just on the mic. Hey, good afternoon. This is Biggie, and we're going to be talking about wrestling today. And it'll just be just mouth.
What happened to our cutout of what's his?
Oh, okay, out of Bert.
The shit cutout.
Yeah. No, it was a Bert cutout with his mouth. Hello.
I tried to convince Dirty that.
Years ago, or a while back, Bert couldn't host one of his Thursday night streams, and he gave Remy the the keys to it or something. And
Yeah.
Remy did a cut. He did a layover of Burke sitting in his chair with the mouth cut out, and Remy did the whole.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
His mouth over Burke's chair. No one saw it coming, and no one could get through the stream. We just laughed the whole time. It was hilarious.
Good times.
The
Good
worst
I
part
ended up
was
doing
when he did his sponsorship. He wanted me to do that live. Like I was just gonna clip it and have him do it. And he's like, "No, you got to say it." And I couldn't pre-record it or anything, so I had to like have a script.
So
I think that I think Burke's the funniest guy in the community. I think Burke's the funniest.
Scotso.
It sounds, Biggie, like you're laughing at him, not with him, when you say
No,
that.
I laugh with them. Because I think that Burke believes what he says. So that's not laughing at him.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, you got that one backwards, Biggie. You got that one backwards, brother.
2 points.
No. I don't think that he believes he's wrong, and that's okay.
No, I agree. But that's funny to you, right? That's what's funny to me, too.
And just generally, he's funny too. That's not the only thing that's funny. Like Burke is a naturally comical-looking guy, bro. The Wildcats, the Seeds. I mean, he's fucking funny, man. He's the best.
He said he's not only funny, but he's funny looking. That's what I
Shaq dunking on Burke. Right
Biggie,
I'm telling y'all, he's funny. It's good.
Biggie, do me a favor and never compliment me. I appreciate it.
it's Biggie. It's not what
Biggie. I've actually heard Biggie say this before. He wanted to vote for him for funniest shit.
Yeah. Fucking Burke's hilarious. Remember whenever he had the fucking giveaway with the fucking Singapore, and he was just like, oh.
Well, we know he's
No.
funny. Listen,
No. Oh, God. You don't remember that? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. It was when he
he's
cut
fucking
the
great.
line. Burke cut the line to give his away first. And Titus won. And he had to ship to the
Fucking classic Burke, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Burke is
Isn't Burke still whining about not being monetized?
Oh,
Biggie's
damn.
a straight man.
Burke's argument about every fucking thing Burke does is classic, dog. I'm telling y'all fuck up. Whenever he got demonetized, he was like, yo, I'm not the only one, y'all. Fucking Burke, dog.
He started snitching on everybody. And then
Burke saw a bus and went and found all of his friends. Hey guys, come here. Stand on this curb.
Well, not only that is what bugs me.
The fucking counting pages with the flash. He was like, "This is an A-OK, but you know, you gotta fucking." Goddamn.
Burke would then use absolutes in his statements, say everybody does it, and I'd go, Burke, I haven't done it once. There's not a single clip I have of my shit. Don't be saying things like fucking everybody does it. It's a asinine statement.
Did he just start naming channels, though? Did he actually start naming channels?
yeah, he really did. He immediately named a bunch of channels that also did it. And then some of those channels, like DJ Links, got demonetized. Right after. It reminds me of when Iron Sheik got busted with coke in his system back in the day, and Vince called him in and said, you know, Sheik, you tested positive for cocaine. And Sheik's like, oh, good. Yes, positive. And he's like, no, that's bad. You means you had cocaine in your system. And Sheik
Becker
said,
knows
well,
what I'm saying.
So Sheik goes, well, did Don Morocco test positive? And they said, no, just you. And he's like, did Brian Blair test positive? No. What about Hacksaw Jim Duggan? No, not just you, Sheik. Well, I don't understand. They were all with me.
That's hilarious.
Oh.
Okay, I'm voting for funniest channel then. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's
we
get it.
need a write-in. We need a write-in.
Absolutely.
Funniest
Do it.
channel, Steve Burke.
Yeah.
5 Mile.
Wrestler extraordinaire.
But then you think what happens, though, is he wins it, and then he'll actually start trying to be like himself.
Real funny. No.
Like,
I'd love to see Burke do a tight 5 for the Comedy Store.
You remember when he was shaking his balls on camera? Who does that? Wait, what did he do? He hopped up, started shaking his balls. You remember that one?
Yeah, Marcus is right here.
Can confirm Berg is a huge fan of his private parts. Can confirm.
What would actually happen?
Hold on. What makes you an expert in this field, Marcus?
A lovely day in an IHOP parking lot, my friend.
Oh, that's all it takes.
Eman thought he was telling a joke about Marcus seeing his nuts, but no, Marcus just told you he saw his nuts.
No.
Bert brings
A
it up whenever
lovely
he
day
can.
in IHOP. Yes.
And even when he shouldn't. But
yeah,
the thing is, if Burke would get this award, he wouldn't get it. Be on the ending. So instead, he'd be promoting how great he is and how everybody loves him because he's the funniest channel. He wouldn't understand the joke.
Yeah,
I
think that would be the funniest part, Rob. That part would be the funniest.
I don't want to joke on him though. I really do like Burke. I think Burke's a smart dude, and
we all are right now, and that's why I'm saying I love you, Burke.
That's why I was joking about like when I picked up that Batman book. It's like, I just got this so Burke couldn't get it. That wasn't. I'm not.
Burke's a great collector, man.
I'm not buying a book just so somebody else can't get it. That's not real. But it's just part of the joke.
Yo, Burke got a fucking ASM 129 for like $20, dude. Like, what a beast. That Burke luck, bro. He's the kind of guy that just shows up at LCS and the fucking LCS don't buy an ASM one. He's like, I'll take it for $20 or some shit,
I need to change my picture, but I can't find the IHOP photo. I thought I had it saved.
I mean, is that safe for Mark's channel?
He's at
God,
it's
the
just
IHOP
the
photos.
It's just a strong outline.
So how far are you guys away from Burke? How far are you guys away from Burke? I thought you guys were in like Kansas City, like in Missouri. And Burke was in Kansas proper.
I'm in Missouri. Marcus is in Kansas.
Marcus got that Atlanta mentality.
I've never
there's just a city like I'm the same.
Here now I have
Atlanta.
a photo of Burke. There
I've never heard
anyone
gangsta over Missouri.
That's exactly how I am.
Fuck Missouri.
For me, it's the traffic, man. I can't. It just makes no sense to me. Like I get claustrophobic being in Atlanta. It's just like the buildings. I just feel surrounded. I can't take it. It's anxiety.
I hear a lot of people say Atlanta sucks. I hear that a lot.
It's just what happened is it just grew faster than it grew. You know what I mean? Like it couldn't keep up, and it's just. I'm just like I worry the entire time I'm there, like trying to drive and navigate, and this is just crazy.
And as soon as you said traffic, I hit traffic. God damn it!
Open
I had
freeway.
lunch with Burke.
Where are you at,
weekend.
I'm driving to work.
That's not what he asked. He didn't say what are you doing. He said where are you at.
Oh, I'm on Sahara and Jones in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas.
We wanted your latitude, longitude, but we'll settle for that.
Yeah, I know.
What is
All right, call in the drone strike.
Yeah, you could call in the drone strike. No one will.
Oh, dude.
No one will cry with what you're going to blow up if you blow up the building on Sahara and Jones.
Chaos. I'm going to Vegas for a bachelor party in September, and the bachelor doesn't know what he's doing. Besides these things called gentlemen clubs and ranches, I believe is what they're called.
Those are two different things.
Any suggestions? Anything off the strip, I believe is what it's called.
Fremont. Yeah. There's some cool comic book stores I can point you to.
See? This is exactly what all of the guys in a bachelor party need to get. They need beer, they need evening fun, and they need comics. What? That's
might work.
I'll have to think about it. Are you trying to get something? Do something cheap or do something non strip club-ish?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you want to watch, I haven't watched She-Hulk yet. So if you guys all want to come to my house and just hit She-Hulk episode 1 through 8.
I like. Can we come over to your house and you can give us a total rundown of what's gone on over the X-Men comics since issue 4? Like, is that?
Yeah,
that would totally be amazing. That's a great way to spend a bachelor party in Vegas.
Yeah, without a doubt. If you want, we also build some Legos.
Man, you're saying all the right words.
How do I get invited to this party?
I'll think about it. Though I know Cole from Cole's Comics Claims. He came here in a bachelor party. They seemed to have fun. I hung out with him for a little. I hung out for the part where we just drank and didn't do anything else. which is
I want to know.
which is I'm always available for that. I don't want to do any of the other Vegas events.
I want to know more
Scott
about
says
playing
make
with
a
her
trip to Hoover,
block.
take a helicopter tour, stop at the marina, and eat on the way back.
No, I mean that's what you do with your family. Don't do that with fucking The
Hit
Bachelor.
Sam's Town on the way
No,
back.
Because
Hoarders
they're
High did that by
standards, right?
himself.
Because they're standards.
Yeah.
I want to know more about playing with your blocks. That's what
I can imagine a bunch of hungover people have to wake up at 6 a.m. to get in a helicopter, and then they got to
The
go land in the
altitude
Grand
might be
Canyon or
good
some
for
shit.
them. Yeah, the
How
altitude
cool
might
is that
be good for
dome?
'em.
Chaos. How cool is that dome with all the
Hey,
LEDs on it, dude?
I haven't actually seen it yet. I just got so in Poland. I just started seeing all this shit on like the Vegas stuff I follow on IG. I go, oh, that does look cool because this entire time it's being built, I thought it looked fucking stupid. I'm like, why are you building that? I mean, you're already building. You built a stadium and an arena. Like, we don't need more places, and we have a bunch of little arenas in all the casinos. But then I saw that dome; it was pretty cool. But I haven't driven that way yet. So
yeah, I would like to see that in person. That shit's probably dope as fuck.
Yeah,
it looks cool. Wild.
I'll be there in
giant
September.
orb.
I'll give a full on review of what I see when I'm there.
I would go see that shit, E-Man. You should fucking definitely go to the dome, dude.
Yeah, the dome's a for sure thing that we're.
I wonder if
you're gonna see it as you drive.
Yeah, I wonder if it looks like if it loses its pizzazz as you get close, and you don't really get a good view of like the whole thing because it is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very big. I mean, it's been a blight on the landscape for a while, because I think it
Are we
started
talking
getting
about
built
Bert's
before
junk again, or is this a building?
Hey,
you haven't seen it?
Something
Becker,
came up at
it's
work. I
fucking
gotta
crazy,
get going,
bro.
you guys. I'll talk to you guys.
Alrighty, man. Rob, I'm about to hop off here. It's in your hands, my dude.
Yeah, I think we should just end it.
End it.
I didn't ask you what you think, Becker.
It's over. Let's send everyone
Mike said to
through
cut
the
it off.
Krakoan gates into the meat grinder.
Yeah, Mike said
Don't let
cut
the
it off, so
picture
we cut it
fool
off.
you.
Well, I don't know if Rob's at the computer right now, so I don't want to bail on him.
Speaking of Hoarders Hide earlier, I actually thought Hoarders Hide got kidnapped yesterday because he sent me a message that said, "Are you interested in digital art?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you've been kidnapped."
Digitally?
Digitally, yeah, digitally. I thought it was like a code, but I didn't. I would be afraid of whoever could kidnap Scott because I would imagine that's no.
Yeah, he's pretty unkidnappable, that one.
Especially if you have those nipple coverings.
Right? I mean, how do you intimidate a guy that's made those photos?
Every time I see him on his channel, he's got like a fucking power drill and a hammer, dude. He's just like, yeah, I'm fucking putting shelves up. Yeah.
I wish I was like that.
I know what you said, Hoarders Hide. I was trying to make a joke.
I got all these fucking comics. I got like 250,000 comics. I got a shelf. Fucking hoarders.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how kidnappable do you think, say, Scott is? And then,
Hey, it doesn't show up on the StreamYard, and so I can't highlight it. But shout out to Circumstances, who just did a super chat with his membership for 14 months. Got a free super chat. It says CBC Award nominations in August 5th. Letting everybody know we're running out of time for those. # We Are Legion.
Oh,
Marcus left too. I didn't even see him leave.
it's because he has skinny arms.
Yeah. I guess I must have been paying attention to the goddamn road. Well, I'm going to take off too. I got to go to work. I'll see you guys later.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Bye, Chaos.
Later, Biggie.
Later, Big Dog.
I got local wrestling with Marcus tomorrow.
Take 3. I didn't get a chance to give Chaos a hard time about his softcore porn he had on his channel yesterday. But that's okay. Did y'all see Chaos's video yesterday?
No.
It was literally like porn.
Hmm.
It was amazing. I was pretty proud of him.
So what happened? Did somebody like hijack him or?
No, he was showing covers with like penetration, private parts. I think I'm pretty sure. Definitely naked, and it was like outlaw indie. You know what I mean?
Comics, yeah.
Yeah, they were cool. I just wonder how YouTube took it. You know, I'm not gonna be the one to be like, "Oh, Chaos is showing fucking titties on a thing," but usually the algorithm picks that up pretty quick. I had one on my fucking channel for like a minute, and I got hit with the strike. I had to take it off.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you just have to say it's art. Harry's got it right.
Oh yeah.
Rob's back. We can end the stream.
I just deleted it.
Oh, why? Is Legion of Comics not going to do it?
Yeah.
Well, we were waiting for
Mike
you
said
because
to
he didn't
end
want
it,
to leave
but
you here.
Mark didn't want to end it unless you wanted to end it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I should actually probably be working. I mean,
Romania.
my inbox has been very quiet today, which is very odd considering it's near the end of the month, and usually that's my busiest time. But Remy knows YouTube
Monday.
rules for art. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I just didn't want to end it with you away, or I didn't want to leave. I said I'm going to get ready to step away here, but I wanted you to be back in case you were hanging out. And Beckerman's leading a revolt to kill the stream.
Well, Beckerman
I thought
was
it
one
should
of
have
the.
been ended the second you showed up, Mark.
That's valid.
Beckerman was kind enough to hop on fairly early, along with Izzy, so I wasn't floundering worse than I already was at the very beginning of this thing.
Yeah, so I was leaving in Becker's hands.
Becker's on him, but he's given up his morning. He could have been sleeping and napping.
Yeah, he could have.
That's like, it means he's that much less beautiful.
All right, well, I have fun. I'm gonna get out of y'all's hair. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Legion.
See you,
All right, you guys.
Good time.
No.
Later, guys.
Oh.
Yeah. So you guys go as usual, end this thing the way we always end this thing, which is don't forget, BTC, Butter Jump, but ABX, all these things. Join, become a member of the channel. Love everybody. You can get loyalty badges because that's how we're cool like that. And until next time, don't forget, everybody is a Legion member unless you're not, in which case you should be. So there you are. Mark, you want to say the tagline?
We are Legion.
There you go. Good night, folks.